Through Vivant CSR activities, where our contribution in education focuses on science and technology to drive innovation forward in the communities in which we work. Looking to the future, our ability to be a reliable partner, willing to explore relevant technologies, and adapt to market circumstances will continue to be the secret to our success in every aspect of the energy sector. As we expand beyond power, our business model of foresight, cooperation, and adaptability will always push us forward. Vivant, solutions for a changing world.
Imagine having technology that lets you grow your business right at your fingertips, where a single click can give you full access to your business and to the world. No need to imagine further. At Eastern Communications, we take care of your IT needs while you focus on what matters most to your business. Our business products and services are specifically designed to guarantee your business success in lesser time. Experience seamless business-to-business data exchange throughout the country and the world with our reliable data services. Our domestic data services ensure you with a stable delivery of private data across internal organizations and remote branches. If you're expanding business horizons, our international data services are perfect in securing private exchange of data between domestic and international sites. Whatever your internet needs, our customized packages got running operation and easier access to funds. With our dedicated internet services, we provide businesses with the best routes to ensure high-speed connectivity. If you are performing basic business operations, our shared internet services provide the stable and consistent connectivity that you need. Transform the way your business communicates, whether through our traditional voice services or modern solutions. You can instantly accelerate transactions and manage calls cost-effectively. But if you're looking for something simple and practical, nothing can go wrong with traditional telephony, which can handle up to 30 voice channels simultaneously. Plus, you get better voice quality and clearer reception. You can bring out the best in any plan when you avail our exclusive managed services that provide personalized assistance to your specific IT needs. Through our software-defined wide area network service, you can keep multiple branches connected to real-time information all at the same time. Want to improve internal operations without spending much? No worries. Our affordable value-added services ensure that you get additional boost on top of your plan. Give your business the much-needed protection it needs by keeping critical information in a highly secure data center facility operated by professional engineers 24/7. Our cloud service gets you ahead in business by equipping you with the proper tools towards the digital transformation of your business. Greater connection equals greater security risks? Not when you subscribe to our game-changing Eastern Cyber Defense Services. We protect the data of your business and customers 24/7 so you can have greater peace of mind at every step of the way. With our website protection service, cyber threats are automatically detected and blocked in real time. Building customer trust is a must. So we also ensure there's high security in the personal information and transaction of your customers. Let us do all the work so you can just focus on growing your business even more. So next time you come across problems with your connection, partner with Eastern. Because our language is solutions. Talk to us today. All it takes is that one connection, our strong connection. Eastern Communications.
Hi, I'm Chris. I am a principal engineer at Lexmark. My primary work is to deliver the best motherboard design for our world-class printers. I like working for Lexmark because it provides me the opportunity to design real high-end projects, and that is a rare opportunity. Aside from that opportunity, Lexmark, you are surrounded by great engineers who are world-class in talent and at the same time willing to help you grow in your career.
Awkward when you're bustling through the city, at work, or sweating it out. And just when you think you're doing things in style, the right moment can easily take the wrong turn. New GT Cosmetics Deodorant guarantees the freshness and confidence that you need to make it through the day. So that you're ready to make every moment the right moment.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bridget, and I'll be one of the moderators for this afternoon. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our speakers, Mr. Felix Tagiam, our Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry President, the Office of the Department of Tourism, under Honorable Bernadette Tumulog-Guyat. I'd like to acknowledge Honorable Andre Duterte of the Provincial Committee of Tourism, Director Shalimar Tamano, DOT 7, Ricardo Ricky Isla, our Chief Executive Officer of Philippines Air Asia. Welcome, sir. And of course, Mr. Francisco Paco Guerrero, who will be speaking about transitioning from traditional to digital tourism. And of course, our panel speakers, Ma'am Maria Lester Marti Ibanez, the Provincial Tourism Officer of the Province of Cebu. Welcome, ma'am. Ma'am Jeanette Toral, our e-commerce program head and lead trainer, who is also a certified e-commerce specialist, e-commerce entrepreneur, and e-commerce professional programmer too. And also Mr. Raymond Villanueva, who is head of business for QR Ecosystems and Maya. We'd also like to acknowledge the presence of our special guest, Ma'am Yvonne van der Kroft, who is from CUM Netherlands and a senior expert in the tourism and hospitality industry. And Mr. Ryan Tan Yu, the Chief Executive Officer of Metaverse. And of course, our dashing president, Mr. Michael Tubos, the CBM 2020 overall chairman. So welcome, everybody. All right. Commissioner of Region 7 by RD Shalimar Tamano, which will be followed by the Aviation Situationer by Mr. Ricardo Ricky Isla. And then we're going to have a short open forum, and then we're going to transition into utilizing technology in tourism, which will be discussed by our special guest, Francisco Paco Guerrero, transitioning from traditional to digital tourism, which will be followed by a panel discussion by our three panelists, Ma'am Maria Lester Marti Ibanez, Ma'am Janet Toral, and Mr. Raymond Villanueva. Afterwards, it will be, we will follow with another open forum and a raffle to be presented by our moderators. And we will then present a 360 virtual tour experience which will be discussed by Ms. Yvonne van der Kroft. And lastly, we will have Mr. Ryan Tan Yu present the virtual tour creation and best practices of a virtual tour. And then we will have the closing remarks by Mr. Mike Tubos. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry welcomes you to the first virtual tourism forum entitled Bring It On Tourism with the theme, Technology and the Future of Travel and Tourism. We have with us today very prestigious speakers and experts in the travel industry who will be sharing with us insights on how to use technology and modern strategies to help revive our tourism sector as we navigate our way into the new normal. After each section, there will be an open forum where guests and participants will get to ask our speakers their questions and at the same time get a chance to win exciting prizes from our sponsors. With this, we would like to thank Our following partners and sponsors: the Province of Cebu, the City of Cebu, the Department of Tourism, the Department of Information, Communication, and Technology. We'd also like to thank our Cebu Business Month 2x Ruby sponsor, Eastern Communications, and also our Cebu Business Month virtual event sponsor, Omnibus, GT Cosmetics and Manufacturing Incorporated, Lexmark Research and Development. We'd also like to 360 Global Services, Topline Group of Companies, Trends and Technology, Lala Move, Cebu Cordova Link Expressway Corporation, Metaverse, Paprika, Stitch Photography, Adlawan Vacation Farm, The Chocolate Chamber, Sirao Flower Garden, and Marco Polo Plaza Cebu. So welcome everybody, and let's have a wonderful afternoon.
Let us all dedicate this time for prayer as we say, in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord God and Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather as unity through this virtual tourism event. Thank you also for the chance to bring it on. May you guide us through this journey. Lord, we pray for all our country's leaders. They are indeed burdened by challenges thrown at them on a daily basis, with pressures piling and our news feeds buzzing with hate and fear. Give us the discernment, give us the clarity, give us the strength to fight these battles. May we lift up all these problems to you, O Father. Enlighten our minds and hearts and guide our paths through our daily decision-making. A change of mentality, a paradigm shift to propel us in the right direction according to your will. We truly live in a time of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. In this VUCA world, we pray for our families. We pray for our barangays. We pray for our cities and municipalities. We pray for our towns and communities. We pray for our provinces. And we pray for our nation. Teach us to love one another. Remind us of our core values that our forebears have taught us. In this global pandemic, we face seemingly overwhelming giants and unsurmountable mountains. It would surely take a combined bayanihan effort to break. At this juncture, I'm also grateful to be involved in organizing this virtual tourism summit. Thank you for their hard work and efforts. Bless the speakers as they deliver. On a final note, we recover as one. Amping kanunay, take care, keep safe, and God bless everyone.
kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, pero sa sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y kumay. Upang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang matawag ko'y tagumpay na nag-iingin, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang ay magtitingin. Luman ang araw, ang walhagin ka, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hinigaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
And the Cebu Businessman, CBM 2020 Working Team. I would like to welcome you all to the first activity of the CBM 2020 Bring It On Tourism, Technology and the Future of Travel and Tourism. Despite the restrictions imposed on us because of this COVID-19 pandemic, I am delighted that we are able to find a way to come together with the help of technology to discuss the future of travel and tourism in this pandemic era. The COVID-19 has shocked the economies around the world. It is crippling small and large businesses alike, sparing no one and resulting in heavy losses. Closure of some non-essential businesses activities, loss of jobs for thousands of people, and lost opportunities. With the closing of borders, airports, and hotels, as well as curtailment of movement and restrictions of mass gatherings, land travel and related services, without a doubt, one of the most affected sectors by this pandemic is the tourism industry. Early this year, the Philippines has already felt the negative impact of the pandemic with the decrease of international tourist arrivals and with the imposed travel restrictions. The fear of the unseen enemy will continue to dampen local and international tourism. According to the Department of Tourism, tourist arrivals for January to April this year declined by 54%, from 2.8 million to 1.3 million, while tourism revenue decreased by 55%, from 180.5 billion pesos to 79.8 billion pesos only, compared to figures during the same period of 2019. With COVID-19 showing no signs of slowing down, we are left no choice but to adapt to the new normal and resume, reboot, repurpose, retrofit our business operations and start our economy's recovery. Knowing the trends and opportunities is imperative for operators to survive in this VUCA environment, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. The need to uncover new ways to do things, modify business models, and adapt to the changes that we are now experiencing is inevitable. Among these is the use of digital technologies and innovation that offer people new ways to connect, collaborate, and conduct business, which will build bridges between businesses and touch the core of all business functions. The DOT has new normal guidelines for industry establishments for us to consider and implement to build confidence among people that is safe to travel across borders without minimized risk of infection. So in today's Bring It On Tourism Zoom conference, we will hear from our top tier speakers. We hope to create an environment where we can help each other and pursue competition in the industry. Now, more than ever, we must cooperate, collaborate, and adopt best practices and lead with, to lead with and manage the threat of COVID-19. I am optimistic that with creativity, innovation, and the use of digital technology, we can all rise again even during the pandemic era and bounce back stronger than ever. We are encouraged by your presence today. Good afternoon to one and all. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Felix, for the wonderful welcome address. So the next part of our program, we will be hearing from two very special speakers who will deliver inspirational messages for us. So our first speaker needs no further introduction. She is the dynamic woman behind the Department of Tourism and the current Secretary of the Department of Tourism right now. So with no further ado, let us all welcome Honorable Bernadette Romulo Cuyat for her inspirational message. Welcome, ma'am.
Honorable Governor Gwendolyn Garcia, Mr. Felix Taguiam, President of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Michael Cubos, Cebu Business Month 2020 Overall Chair, and DOT Region 7 Director, Shalimar Tamano. To all our dear tourism stakeholders, tourism officers, and entrepreneurs, welcome to the forum. And of course, thank you for inviting us. It is my great pleasure to be here with you to celebrate Cebu Business Month. The Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been very responsive to the COVID-19 crisis through of impacted tourism businesses. Efforts to rally behind MSMEs, hosting webinars to promote resiliency and continuity. The shifting quarantine status of Cebu has made it difficult for businesses to get back on track. But the Chamber has not wasted any time in helping equip the private sector adapt to the current challenges. This summit focused on technology and the future of travel and tourism comes at the right moment. The pandemic has truly been the boost behind the shift towards a low-touch economy. And for months, the DOT has been strongly encouraging its stakeholders to embrace digital platforms that will enable them to transform their businesses. For the first time in the history of the Department of Tourism, we have rolled out DOT online learning series conducting 30 webinars since April with at least 8,000 participants eligible to receive certificates. And with our own regional online learning sessions and attached agency programs, we have collectively reached over 1 million views. Our online learning platform will remain an integral part of our training program. We have partnered with startup incubator Talino Venture Labs on the development of SafePass Express and Eat-in Express applications needs of hotels and restaurants. I believe that the head of Talino Labs, Winston Damarillo, even studied in Cebu. Contactless transactions will be the norm, and customers will expect hotels, restaurants, transport services, and other operations to offer such services, both out of convenience and to prevent the transmission of the disease. Very soon, we will also be launching our online accreditation system that will enable our stakeholders to process their entire application on a smartphone. The system requires almost zero face-to-face transaction and is in line with the national government's mandate on the ease of doing business. Technology, however, is not always needed for innovation. Our Filipino brand of service, contactless greeting, which is a wave from the heart, has become an alternative to our traditional handshake or beso-beso. While we are hopeful that news of a vaccine will yield assured results, we believe that the enhanced hygiene and sanitation measures that we have been implementing are likely to stay. Many countries that have managed to successfully contain the spread are seeing small outbreaks here and there. The best normal for us would be a scenario where sporadic infections can be managed without having to shut down a society or a city entirely. Hence the need to institutionalize health and safety guidelines and make technology widely accessible so that tourists across the country experience seamless interactions, whether they are checking into a hotel or stopping by a roadside eatery. May I remind you that the SafePass Express and the Eat-in Express is available to all DOT accredited establishments for free. I am excited about the possibilities that technology offers tourism. Virtual tours, for instance, allow people to experience different places and events on their devices. The DOT has launched virtual tours of Intramuros and 360 underwater videos of our many diving sites. Hotels or local hotspots can take advantage of interactive virtual maps and tours to showcase their amenities and encourage bookings. I have heard about the great work that the DOT accredited tour guide Ms. PG Guba has been doing in Cebu, hosting at least 13 historical and educational virtual tours since June with participants from all over the region and even abroad. I hope, Ms. PG, I'll be able to attend one of your virtual tours soon. Initiatives like these show how tourism can still make an impact, even as much of the world's population is still barred from traveling internationally. As the country slowly opens up to domestic tourism, let us continue to work together, preparing and priming our destinations to welcome visitors once again, ensuring safe and fun travels for years to come. Together, we will all recover as one. Daghang salamat, maraming salamat at
Thank you so much, Secretary Puyat, for your inspiring message. Surely we have a lot to look forward to as we navigate our way into the new normal. So our next speaker will also deliver an inspiring message. He is the provincial board member of the 5th District of Cebu and is also the chairman of the Committee on Tourism and the 15th Sangguniang Panlalawigan of Cebu Province. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Honorable Andre Red Duterte. Okay, we're now experiencing technical difficulties with Board Duterte's message. We'll come back to that. So next off, for our program, we're going to have our very own tourism situationer of Region 7 to be delivered to us by Regional Director Shalimar.
Thank you, Ms. Bridget Mueller. Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulupuyat, Cebu Governor Gwendolyn F. Garcia, Mr. Felix Tagiam, President of CCCI, officers of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, fellow speakers and panelists, Ms. Alice Queblatin, CCCI Tourism Committee Chair, my warmest greetings. Allow me to share my presentation. 2019 is a banner year for tourists as additional flight connectivity to international gateways were established. New properties opened, 10 in Bohol and Cebu, and major international events were hosted. This contributed to the increase of the region. Sixty 60% or 5.1 million are domestic, while 40% or 4.3 million are for the first time. The island of Cebu recorded more in tourist arrivals has generated at least 149 billion in tourism receipts, where the average daily expenses of a domestic traveler is 4,200, while a foreign tourist spends an average of 6,500 daily. Average length of stay in the region is recorded at 3 nights. The first COVID case in the country was recorded around the first week of February, which led to the cancellation of flights from Manila to other destinations. This was immediately followed by the closure of city and provincial borders, which trapped thousands of tourists and locals in different regions. Cancellation of flights of numbers of strikes prompted different embassies in the country to mount sweeper flights to rescue their nationals and repatriate them back to their respective countries. Together with partner agencies, organizations, and LGUs, DOT Central Visayas assisted more than 10,800 foreign tourists to return to their home countries. In addition, the regional office also extended assistance to locally stranded individuals and tourists, board flights to Manila to return to their home provinces. As of May 30, the DOT has mounted 5 charter flights and assisted in filling up 10 user pay flights flying 2,477 stranded domestic tourists to Manila. Since the DOT is part of the regional IATF, the regional office is also involved in the repatriation of stranded overseas Filipinos back to the country. Since June 19, more than 19,000 stranded overseas Filipinos, both OFWs and non-OFWs, have returned and landed at Mactan International Airport. Arriving OFWs are temporarily housed in accommodation facilities in the Tri-Cities for a maximum of 2 nights while waiting for their test results. This ROF operation has kept afloat some establishments in the accommodation sector after a few months of inactivity. With the ROF operation, as well as the housing of BPOs, telco and bank employees, and health workers, it has at least 500 workers, drivers, dispatchers, and office staff of tourist transport services were kept busy as shuttle services of different companies. We are one of the most affected industries due to the pandemic. With economic activities suspended, businesses were forced to close down as non-essential travel and movement is prohibited. This created a domino effect in the industry as planes were grounded, establishments closing operations, workers losing their daily income, and other MSMEs in the supply chain. As of June 2020, in the region, we have lost or foregone revenue amounts to 87 billion pesos. Arrivals have dropped a whopping 81.40% compared to figures last year. Our leaders in the region recognize the importance of tourism in Central Visayas economy. Our industry is considered a major economic driver, contributing 150 to the region's GDP, creating millions of jobs, both directly and indirectly. It is because of this reason that initial efforts have been made to revive the industry. In compliance to guidelines released by the IATF, the DOT issued certificates to all accommodation establishments who wish to open and accept guests under the community quarantines. Today, this is 94 certificates of offer and 285 provisional certificates to operate. DOT 7 also took this opportunity to accredit primary tourism enterprises, particularly accommodation establishments. As of July 30, the regional office has accredited 822 establishments, of which 503 are accommodations. The province of Cebu has opened specific tourist destinations and activities. This is to spur economic activities in cities and municipalities that are highly dependent on tourism. Among the activities opened are wall-to-walls diving and island hopping activities, Camotes Island Tour, and Barilis ATV Adventure. More activities will be relaunched in the next few weeks. Health and safety protocols using new technologies are put in place to ensure the protection and well-being of everyone. All guests are required to register on an online booking portal, and guests are limited to locals only. Lapu-Lapu City also has plans to open its tourism activities as soon as health and safety protocols are in order. Before Bohol welcomes back tourists into the island, the province created travel bubbles. Predetermined and selected tourist destinations are open to tourism. These activities, our destinations must pass the required minimum health standards before being allowed to open. This includes contact tracing systems, centralized reservation and payment systems, environmental compliance, and carrying capacity. This is to ensure that each destination will be able to deliver the ultimate Boholano experience, or ube. In Negros Oriental and Siquijor, diving activities in Dawin has already been open for tourists, but for locals only. Both provincial tourism offices are in the process of crafting their respective health and safety protocols for tourism together with their stakeholders and partners. This pandemic has allowed us to recalibrate and rethink our tourism strategies, making it more sustainable and experiential with added health protocols. We strengthened our partnerships with other offices such as DTI, Central Visayas, who provided assistance to our MSMEs who are badly affected with the closure of tourism activities. The PNP and also the Philippine Coast Guard in ensuring that health and safety protocols are strictly being followed in our activities, and of course the DOH in crafting health guidelines as part of the new normal. With the help of our stakeholders and LGU partners, we hope to launch new products and activities that will entice our guests to visit us again as soon as the borders are open and travel restrictions are eased. Thank you.
Thank you, R.D. Tamano, for a very informative presentation. Truly, our tourism industry has been greatly impacted due to the COVID pandemic. So we hope that we can continue to slowly and safely open back up our economy and our tourism industry to once again welcome our domestic and foreign travelers. So the next part of our program, we will be hearing an aviation situationer by Mr. Ricardo Ricky Isla, the Chief Executive Officer of Philippines AirAsia Incorporated. Welcome, Sir Ricky.
Hi, Bridget.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Maayong hapon. Actually, I was able to record yesterday, kahapon po, with your team on my presentation. So, should we proceed as planned?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Bridget.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Bridget, and good afternoon to all our viewers. Thank you for having AirAsia today. It is a pleasure to join you all for this very informative session, and I'm very honored to speak on behalf of the aviation industry here in the Philippines. Let me begin by sharing some data on the effects of this pandemic on the aviation industry. According to a report by the IATA, or the International Air Transport Association, 2020 has been the worst year in history for all airlines across the globe. Airlines are expected to record negative operating income for this year as the demand for travel has significantly declined due to the global health situation. According to IATA, the industry is expected to lose a total of $84.3 billion this year. In the Asia Pacific region, passenger demand fell by 53.8% compared to last year, 2019. Asia Pacific was the first region to feel the brunt of the crisis and is also expected to post the largest absolute loss this 2020, according to IATA. On a more positive note, however, the recovery of airlines and the tourism industry in general is predicted to pick up towards the end of the year, coming from the domestic markets. Airlines are expected to lower their operational costs and lower their fares to combat the weak consumer confidence which Philippine carriers have already implemented. Based on the report, there will be more travelers on short and medium haul. Travel across the world, or flights less than 7 hours. I will repeat, shorter flying hours of 7 hours, allocating around 2.8 million seats globally available towards the end of this year. In the Philippine aviation scene, local carriers all had to adjust based on the directives from the national and local government units, or LGUs. Extensive and increasing border restrictions imposed by the LGUs had forced airlines to suspend all commercial flights temporarily. Services were resumed until the 5th of June to very minimal domestic destinations that accepted incoming flights. Despite the significant decrease in operations, flight frequencies, and number of passengers, it is pleasing to note that CAB, or Civil Aeronautics Board, recorded Cebu as one of the top destinations for chartered cargo flights and normal passenger flights among all airlines since the lifting of the travel ban in June until end of July. There are a number of challenges we, the local carriers, face as we operate through these tough times. The fear of contracting the virus continues to dampen travel interest among the public. Add to this are IATF restrictions on movement and transportation, which continue to limit the complete revival of the airline's domestic and international network. On the domestic scene, more specifically, varying restrictions of LGUs on travel documents, for example, make traveling quite confusing for the average Filipino. Still, I would like to reiterate that AirAsia is one of the Philippine government in its effort to effectively manage the public health situation. It is for this reason that there is a continuous coordination between AirAsia and LGUs, as well as between the airline and the national government. We need to be kept informed all the time of these restrictions, and the information that we receive from the government is right away relayed to our guests through email and text notifications. For AirAsia Philippines, the extensive border restrictions led us to temporarily hibernate our fleet for over 2 months beginning March. Prior to hibernation, we were operating 1,140 flights a week, flying to 27 destinations, both international and domestic, using 24 of our aircrafts. We resumed our services last June based on official directives, initially operating 12 routes utilizing only 7 aircrafts on our first month of returning to the skies. This allowed us to sell 30% more seats in June compared to the previous months of April and May. Since then, we have been making adjustments to our services and operations based on new developments and in coordination with partners in the government. Since June, we have been mounting no more than 200 commercial flights every month, flying over 30,000 guests to date. Our first quarter performance showed good figures despite the challenges faced. We flew a total of 1.8 million passengers from January to March and grew by 4 percentage points to 22%. Though there was a dip in passengers carried by 90%, our load factor remained healthy, AirAsia at 84%. As expected, our second quarter figures drastically declined. We were only at 19%, I will repeat, only at 19% of our capacity market, and ended the month of July with only 6 routes. Nevertheless, we're still very hopeful for the months to come as we target a recovery of domestic capacity up to 60% of pre-COVID-19 levels starting this month of September. As we gradually resume more commercial flights to more destinations, we pushed for efficient innovations and guest-obsessed solutions which we incorporate within our operations. These innovations and solutions are AirAsia's new ways to fly. We have gone beyond new products to include digital solutions and new protocols for a safety journey for our guests.
Hi, good morning. I'm Krista from the Philippines. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm ready to fly again after 3 months. And I'm really excited to see you all on board.
I'm so excited to see all those beautiful faces and let's be in the sky red again.
Face mask ready, latex glove ready, and let's go to work.
Board Z2691, and yes, we're very prepared to serve and keep you safe.
Putting on our gloves and our glasses. Okay, we got the safety disinfectants.
I'm glad to see all my passengers smile and get travel with the Asian.
And everybody worked together and it was amazing, and I hope you find this as a learning curve and experience when you do fly, okay?
At the end of the day, I can see a big smile on your face. We're all on this together. Hope to see you on board.
Take care, everyone, and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Road to recovery. AirAsia was quick to adopt a multi-layered approach to safety to provide a safe, affordable, and convenient experience for guests. Digitalization is the first one. We have developed self-check-in kiosks at airports, including the Mactan Cebu International Airport. These are designed to perform contactless transactions by scanning QR codes of flight bookings from mobile devices or from our cell phones or printed boarding documents. Guests only need to check in online to generate a code or a QR code, which will activate the kiosk automatically. Scanning a QR code will automatically print, number one, your boarding pass, and number two, your baggage tags, without having to touch the kiosk screen. When it comes to boarding, everything is also contactless. Passengers are encouraged to use the e-boarding passes to minimize face-to-face interactions. For guests that wish to make changes to their bookings, we have simplified the processes, which can be done online via the AirAsia website by chatting with our virtual all-star AVA or AVA. Recently, we also launched AVA's newest channel on WhatsApp, making it easier for our guests to be assisted. And finally, with regards to the HEPA filters, our safety measures are also in place on board the aircraft. Our aircraft undergo deep cleaning and sanitation to control or neutralize infectious elements, thus minimize the risk of spreading any virus, cabin disinfection that takes place before and after each flight. In addition, our aircrafts are equipped with air filtration system that effectively rule out airborne transmission of contaminants. The air inside the cabin passes through powerful HEPA filters, or what you call high-efficiency particulate filters, that purifies the air every 2 to 3 minutes, screening almost the entire spectrum of the particles. These filters are similar to those equipped in hospital operating rooms. I will repeat, imagine we're the same as the operating rooms of the hospitals. That filtration filter, where airborne infection is much lower compared to normal environments. All of AirAsia's enhanced safety measures are highlighted through various channels, including at the airport, on digital and freestanding signages. And finally, we understand that plenty of our guests are uncertain of their travel plans, and that is why we are offering our enhanced flexibility options for our flights. Take note of this. Guests with bookings made up to October 31, 2020 may make an unlimited number of flight date changes. I will repeat. October 31, 2020, okay, guests with those kind of bookings can make an unlimited number of flight date changes without additional charge. Flights may be booked for travel up to December 31, 2020. Surviving this crisis meant being more innovative in our operations. While commercial flights have not reached pre-COVID levels, we have shifted our focus to other sources of demand, particularly special or chartered repatriation and cargo flights. Our operations are now heavily geared towards relief efforts to assist those in need.
With everything that's going on with the world, we ask ourselves, why do we fly? We fly for the heroes of our time. We fly for all the medical supplies that need delivering. We fly to safely bring people back home. We fly so everyone can fly now.
Our repatriation flights have been very successful in bringing home over 35,000 guests, having mounted nearly 500 chartered flights that past few months. These are in coordination with several government agencies, including OWA, foreign embassies, the Department of Foreign Affairs, and other private organization partners. Aside from these rescue flights, we have also utilized our aircraft to move cargo transporting essential equipment and supplies to areas that need it the most. To date, we transported over 600,000 kilograms of medical equipment and essentials to key destinations, both locally and abroad. Our road to recovery has been slow, but we are very pleased that air travel has been picking up, especially to destinations like Cebu, Davao, and Puerto Princesa. More than reviving our operations to full capacity, we see the aviation industry as a key player to our economic recovery. AirAsia is in full support of the Department of Tourism towards stimulating domestic travel and activity. We have plans of opening new domestic routes, which we are to launch very soon and which will be benefit both the industry and the local economy. AirAsia also supports the travel bubble strategy as a way forward for economic rebound. Being able to operate flights to and from select international areas will help in stimulating our local economy seriously affected by the pandemic. Safety measures are in place. Flying public can confidently fly within these travel bubbles, knowing that their well-being is given priority. Travel bubbles can be started with countries that have similar COVID curves and with effective public health management systems. One of the things we're looking at is the ASEAN travel bubble. The current situation has proven the importance of collaboration towards recovery. Currently, AirAsia chairs ACAP, or what we call the Air Carriers Association of the Philippines, a group comprised of the airlines operating in the country. Together, in ACAP, we discussed the priority lifting, not just our sector, but also the local economy. I encourage, most especially private partners in the travel and tourism industry, to collaborate with us in ACAP to lobby the government for the needed support to sustainability, boost our operations and the wider economy. Let me therefore close with the following thought and video. COVID-19 has disrupted the industry, our operations, and even our public health. It has also introduced itself as an economic downturn. This, however, has pushed us in AirAsia to reimagine the future of travel, and what we've come to realize is that much innovation and collaboration is needed. Collaboration with our partners in the government, fellow local carriers, and our friends in the private sector. The only way to move up is to work together. Thank you and good afternoon to all. Marami pong salamat.
The next part of our program is our open forum, or the question and answer portion. So we encourage all our guests, our viewers, to ask questions directed to any of our speakers. question to you, sir.
Yep. Okay. Is my audio good already? Can you hear me?
Yes, it is, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Bridget. Good news. Our prices are even lower. As a matter of fact, if you're gonna book your tickets now for the first week of September, we are only going to charge you a small 800 to 1,000 pesos per one way. So very attractive prices, and I think this will encourage people. 2 points. Travel safely with AirAsia because we have the HEPA filters. No, they clean 99.9% of virus, including COVID, and used in all the operating rooms in high-class or high-caliber hospitals like Makati Med, St. Luke's, no? So safety is very important to us. And of course, number two, we want you to visit your loved ones if necessary. And number two is because this is a very important trip. No tourism trip at this point, but we will offer you the best prices. Lisa. Thank you.
Bridget, you're on mute. Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So thank you, Sir Ricky. So I know for a fact a lot of our viewers want to travel either domestically or internationally, and so this is very encouraging. So I hope that a lot of us get to travel very soon. Thank you, sir. Director Tamano.
Yes. Bridget, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yes. Well, important, no, because in my presentation we've been assisting our stranded, like we mentioned. We continue to assist our returning overseas Filipinos, OFWs and non-OFWs. So right now we continue to meet with our local chief executives, with governors and mayors, and domestic travel is not, and also the provinces and cities where it's still coming.
Yeah.
So you must be ready. If one or only one is ready to travel, and if it is not, nothing will happen. On the other hand, if the destination is ready, but psychologically or because of the fear factor, no one wants to travel, then it's still the same, di ba? You pay your staff, no one's coming in. So, technically, of course, first of all, we have to control COVID cases.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how good your marketing is, on the daily reports on TV, it shows that COVID cases are up, then we will to visit you in the first place.
Yes.
And third, Katong mentioned that the prices, but of course, right now we will go hotels, activities, and airlines. So, there has to be a holistic. In Cebu, we've meeting with NCP, GMR. They have ideas of really reducing it to black and white. We'll have another meeting probably this week. And next, to encourage bulkers or corridors. Since Cebu is a major destination, Koreans and Japanese and Chinese, of course, we were thinking of them. But just a few days back, they announced that the cases in Korea are getting, from very good statistics, they also went up. So, it's not really easy, but we continue to complete, we continue to plan, we continue to improve our plans. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, RD. Yeah, I think you have a good point there where both the origin and the destination, they have to be prepared to accept travelers. So the travel corridors are a great idea. All right. Thank you, both of you. We have another question. This is from Mr. Virgilio Espeleta. What is the status of the 10 billion peso proposed stimulus fund for tourism players that are in danger of reallocation? What specific calibrated programs can we do together for the tourism players?
In regards to the 10 billion, it is now in the bicameral conference committee, that's the Senate and the House of Representatives. And of course, it will, whatever comes out of the committee will go to the president signature. In regards to programs, Mr. Espeleta and I are members of the CDC. No? In our meetings and our events the past 2-3 months, we've been working closely with the Department of Trade and Industry in the region. I can mention ASEC Cavite. We meet with Marina, with the Coast Guard, the BNP, and other agencies. And of course, I have to mention Governor Gwen, no, who has created a task force and designated yours truly and DTI as vice chairs. And it is a holistic approach to tourism. We have identified MSMEs, and DTI has identified tourism stakeholders in Cebu, where in their programs for the MSMEs, tabang, all facilities, repairs of pumps, UV lights, all these things, since Cebu is a tourism hub, then DTI, I think, realigned some of its programs to support our MSMEs in the island.
Okay, thank you, sir. This is from Mr. Justin Ramas. Either Sir Ricky or Sir R.D. Samanas an answer. We're hearing positive news that Bohol is already planning a travel bubble. Maybe you can share some of your wonderful plans, probably from the DOT side, sir, and also Sir Ricky with AirAsia flying from various parts of the country to Bohol.
Okay, thank you. First of all, let's define the concept of travel bubble. No? Okay, that is one of the programs of Department of Tourism, wherein we would like to encourage travel, wherein we would say that the COVID case is in a very manageable stage, right? So we are looking at other territories or other destinations which we think the COVID is on a low levels. Now, let's start with Calibo. Calibo right now is actually well managed as far as the status of their COVID is concerned. Very low numbers. As a matter of fact, number 2 point for Calibo, it is actually an international destination, namely from Korea going to Calibo and vice versa. China, including, that's Taiwan, Korea, and China. Okay, so in short, tourism is one of the reasons why I think we really have to encourage the travel bubble in Calibo. At this point, we don't have the official word yet, but Calibo is actually one of the priorities coming soon. And if consistently Calibo will be able to keep their numbers really at the lowest, then the travel bubble will not be far from now. Hopefully, because at this point, Manila to Calibo, we're implementing guidelines with regards to safety, right? I think Calibo is also requesting for PCRs and some documents with regards to entry or inbound Manila going to Calibo. But meanwhile, that's not only looking at the travel bubble via Manila, but travel bubble to other international and domestic destinations. And I think Calibo will be a strong candidate to implement that very, very soon.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Director Solano, would you like to add? Sir, nakamute ka, RD.
Yes. Secretary Piat visited Bohol 2 weeks ago along with Secretary Anyo, and I think the idea of hosting a national convention in Bohol soon. I'm not really at the liberty of announcing it yet. We will wait for the Tourism Promotions Board. Suffice it to say that the statistics in Bohol is quite good. If we get the go signal to announce it in maybe in a few days. In regards Bohol, but like the other LGUs, we continue to coordinate with them. We were with Mayor Ahong last Monday, and we emphasized that opening up of Lapu-Lapu, same as Cebu, that has been discussed extensively actually in Congress. And like I said, it is now in the bicameral conference, and we just wait for the results.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And another question from Mr. Christopher Lambert Quizon. Considering that a chunk of our clients are international tour agencies and local tourists, that's connected pala. So considering that a chunk of our clients are international tour agencies and local tourists don't normally book with tourist transportation services. Okay. All right.
I can say a few words about that.
Yeah, please.
Really, for the first time last year, the island of Cebu got more foreign tourists than domestic tourists for the first time in 2019. So it was really
correct, yeah.
We went straight to Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and China. And that's why it's difficult for us because the infrastructure, the private infrastructure buildings.
It's a pleasure to announce our next speaker, Mr. Francisco Paco Guerrero, the executive editor and co-founder of Grid Magazine. Welcome, Mr. Paco.
Hello, good to be here.
Hi, Printer. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I believe we also have a pre-recorded message I did the other day for all the attendees.
Yes, we do. We're about to play that, sir.
All right.
All right.
Do something with me before we start. I want you to think back to your most memorable trip. Could be last year, could be 10 years ago, doesn't matter, as long as it was memorable. You have it in your mind. Do you remember where you were? Do you remember who you were with, or maybe who you met? Do you have it? Okay, keep that thought in your mind, and we'll get back to it at the end of the talk. So my name is Paco Guerrero. I am the co-founder and executive editor of Grid Magazine. We are locally published, and for the past 6 years have focused exclusively on Philippine content. I have no expertise in technology other than running an Instagram or the website and somewhat knowing how to use a digital camera. So I was worried, honestly, when Eastern Communications, who are undoubtedly experts on technology, invited me to give this presentation to you today. While I cannot speak to you about specific technologies for the travel industry, I can speak to you about content, which is ultimately what populates these technology platforms. And here I'm showing you some examples of the layouts of some of the issues of Grid with stories about chefs, divers, and travelers. I hope to be able to share with you what our creative process is like when it comes to creating unique content from an editorial perspective, and how these processes can be translated to your industry, the travel industry. So you have the tools to reach the audience. This is your business, of your brand, of who you are and what you believe in. And ultimately what your client will come to expect from your services. For example, and this is a distinction between Netflix and a platform. So Netflix is a platform, a technological platform. And the content you watch on Netflix is exactly that. It's the content. And actually Netflix invests heavily in the content for their platform. So if you're a hotel, your lobby, your back of the house, your beds, your website, and social media platforms, these are your technology. This is your platform. Now the experience you provide, hold on, there was a beep. Now the experience you provide to your clients is the content you invest in. I know most of you today are familiar with this, but let's just make a distinction between two things here, all right? Sales and marketing. Usually in most companies, this is one person if it's a small company, or one whole division if it's a larger company. But there is an and there, because these are two different messages. Promotions, pricing, services, installations, packages. This is the mission of sales. Immediate information that captures the client. Marketing is about brand. It is about the promise of an experience, of a connection with our client. And marketing captures the imagination. Earlier this year, Grid Magazine's collaboration with Eastern Communications falls within this mission, to capture the imagination of what is possible by telling real stories. Eastern Communications and Grid Magazine collaborated on a full-scale content campaign, luckily before the lockdown began. So how is it that a telecom company has collaborated with us to create stories on astronomy, like this photograph here, or stories about farmers and online groceries, and even a podcast about a 90-year-old Kalinga tattoo artist? What both teams understood very quickly is that Eastern Communications is about connectivity as much as it is about technology. The content, the stories we wanted to tell about a telco company, is that they enable connectivity with their platforms. ISPs for small and medium enterprises and residential, Microsoft 365, security and cloud solutions, and other online tools. The content we wanted to create was about how this company and their services have a direct impact on connectivity between farmers, astronomers, scientists, divers, and travelers. We centered around the idea of one day in the Philippines, with stories that show the diversity of our country and the commonality of our fellow Filipinos. But we did not create an advertising campaign. Storyboarded in an office in Manila with our team imagining different stories about connectivity. What we did do, luckily before the lockdown, is send our photographers, writers, and filmmakers out into the field. And we found the stories of connectivity and technology at the service of everyday Filipinos. We came back and told these stories. This photograph here, this layout from the magazine, is about Solana, a jockey from Baguio whose deep passion for horses led her to discover the Mongolian Derby, an incredible 1,000-kilometer race through the vast grasslands of Mongolia. Thanks to a globally connected community, she was able to start a funding page for the race and continues to communicate with other racers from around the globe. What drives this sort of content is asking the question, what is it that you support and enable as a business? And not, what are you selling to your clients? Ultimately, Eastern Communications' collaboration in this content
not only giving the company more visibility, of course, but by allowing us to share these stories, they are also indirectly supporting the work of farmers, scientists, conservation advocates, and adventurers. I am well aware that I have the privilege to speak to you all, and you made the time to be here today. I am addressing partners in an industry that is at one of its lowest points in the past decades. The travel industry is fighting to stay afloat, and it might be disingenuous to talk about branding and storytelling at a time when our story is one of crisis. But when we do emerge out of this crisis, I believe that travelers, your clients and guests, will start to return. But the travel industry must be ready for a different kind of traveler. They will emerge from the crisis conscious of health safety, which the travel industry must provide. They will emerge from the crisis possibly with not as much disposable income. They will be looking for a travel experience that is unique. The team at GRID believe that the Philippine Travel Survey Report 20, here's the picture of a cover, is a document that clearly outlines the challenges that lie ahead. I won't go into the details of that report, as I'm sure our colleagues from the DOT would be better prepared to address the finer points. But let me point out 2 of 4 key recommendations that the report has made. Number 1, collaborate with stakeholders, and the second, a shift to digital. On the first point, and I quote here, collaboration among tourism stakeholders is critical to the success of tourism recovery. Stakeholders need to strengthen their coordination mechanisms with particular attention given to the most vulnerable destinations and segments of the industry. Traveling in the new normal is hinged on an integrated system of stakeholders, which suggests an us versus me mindset, a comprehensive understanding of diverse tourism stakeholders for long-term relationship building. In short, what they're saying here in this recommendation is to make connections. And the way you make connections is by telling and listening to stories. Let me give you an example here. So for our collaboration with Eastern Communications, one of the stories we focused on was session grocers, who connect farmers directly with buyers in the city through a mobile app. And Solana, the jockey, who obviously is the rider in Baguio who dreams of one day riding through Mongolia. Both of them are stakeholders in the travel industry, though it might not be obvious at first.
Session Groceries is an mobile app na nagko-connect between yung farmer papunta dun sa consumer. So yung mga consumer pwedeng bumili directly dun sa using our mobile app. Tapos i-deliver sa bahay nila. Tapos dun ko naisip may mas malalim pa na problema yung mga magsasaka. Kaya nagtuloy-tuloy kami. Nag-start lang lahat yan through social media and digital platform.
That's one of the short videos that we created for Eastern Communications. But telling the stories of farmers and the jockeys, GRID hopes to travelers' understanding of what Baguio can offer. That it is not just made up of tourist attractions and restaurants and sites, but a unique blend of communities that enhance the travel experience. This is the us in the us versus me statement from the report. The second point we want to pick up on is a shift to digital. And I quote here from the report, having a strong online brand and a robust website with a transactional platform is ideal to engage our digital savvy Filipino market. Now, I'm going to concentrate on the first recommendation, which is strong online brand. Okay. What we propose at GRID is that these robust digital platforms the report is suggesting be populated by strong brands, your brands. It is necessary to have a strong sales presence on digital with e-commerce, integrated reservation systems, and an agile IT team. This is platform. But your shift to digital should also be populated by stories about connections with your industry partners, connections with communities where you operate, and ultimately connections with your guests and clients. So here is a very brief outline of what we recommend, an editorial approach to brand content. Number one, what makes your brand unique? So I invite you all to think outside your platforms, outside your list of facilities, room types, how many F&B outlets you have. That is all still in sales. Think about concepts rather than products. Let's talk about, for example, design. Does your resort have a design philosophy? Expound on it, explore it, and tell that story. Think about a cuisine rather than a specific restaurant, because through food, you can really explain the culture that you're trying to share with your guests. Talk about your location and tell the story of what makes your surroundings unique, whether it be historical, whether it be near a marine protected area or a national forest. Tell me about your CRS programs, in depth, and how conservation and outreach programs affect the way you do business and how your guests can engage with those programs. Number two, what are your brand's connection to your community? Now, we start with the community where you operate, the smaller and diverse stakeholders. So for example, in the context of Baguio, that could be the small grocery or the rider who you might meet at Ride Park when you go for a ride on one of the horses. What you're looking for is what can make the travel experience unique, because it's all these stakeholders that can really make that happen. Explore and engage a unique community of clients you might have. So if you're a dive resort, obviously engage and tell the story of diving to the diving community. For retreats, it could be yoga, it could be wellness. But communicate who you are in niche communities. And finally, introduce us to your team. Found that when we speak to our clients and we get to speak to specific members, that we find a lot of passion there. We find a lot of great stories about why they ended up working in those companies, or what brought them there, what drives them to continue. So sit down with HR, listen to the stories of your staff and your team. I think you'll be surprised at how many unique stories you will find among your colleagues. Show their journey and share their passion for what they do. Through stories of your team, you can share what Filipino culture really is like at an intimate level. So when we ask the question, what is it that you support and enable as a business? The answer can be the connectivity of the travel experience with stakeholders, large and small, as the report suggests. The recovery of the Philippine economy by creating jobs, even in the farthest flung destinations. The unique experience that you can have traveling throughout the country.
Remember travel? We do. We remember the many amazing places we've seen in our journeys throughout this great country. But more unforgettable were the people that we met. The runners who bring resources to the most remote mountain villages. The marine scientists who guard our seas. Farmers who toil so that the rest of us will have food to eat. Sailors who travel to the Philippines' thousands of islands so that no one is left behind. We've met artists and scientists, builders and businessmen, advocates and activists, characters and storytellers. They were all working to build a future and to build this country. As travelers, we were also doing our part in keeping people and communities going. We haven't traveled for a while and we feel its absence. We all feel it. Without travel, we've lost a way to connect. But we've realized travel was never a luxury. We remember travel. It brought resources, progress, knowledge, hope. Travel drives economies, fires up imaginations, and brings dreams that will become the realities of the future. And travel will help us rebuild. We will travel again.
So, you remember that most memorable trip, the one I asked you about at the beginning of this presentation? Go back to it. Picture it now. The way you remember it, the way you tell your friends and family about it. If you're like me, you won't remember if the resort was ISO 21401 certified, or what the exact room rate was, or even if the flat screen was 21 or 28 inches. What I think you do remember about your most memorable trip is how friendly the staff were, or the tricycle driver who told you where to go for the best lechon you've ever eaten, or that traveler you met who is now probably one of your best friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aguilar, for that wonderful presentation. So when you said to look back and remember, favorite moments, you're right. So I didn't think about the price of the hotel or how much I spent, but I actually thought about the connections I made when traveling, and that's actually the best part of traveling and exploring a beautiful country. So the connections, the hospitality, the people I met, and also the friendships that was formed because of that. So thank you for the reminder. Also, the importance of collaborating with stakeholders and also transitioning to digitalization as a whole industry to be able to move forward. So thank you very much, sir. That was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you. All right, so the next part of our program is our panel discussion for e-commerce and tourism. So we have three panelists who will be presenting their own speeches. And Sir Paco, we would like to ask you to stay for the open forum after the panelists have their speeches.
Sure.
All right, awesome. Thank you, sir. All right, so our first panelist is Maria Lester Marti Ibanez, the Provincial Tourism Officer of the Province of Cebu. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi everyone, here today to give you the report and update of how the Cebu Provincial Tourism Office is doing our part in facing these challenging times of COVID-19. Even before then, this came in, we are already in the verge of adopting digital engagement. That's why we created the Cebu Suri-Suri sa Subo app together with Ryan Ryu of Matter, who have been to be doing the booking and all the virtual tours that what we're planning. But since COVID-19 came, everything was fast-tracked, and we came up with one portal, one booking portal, and we called it discover.cebu.gov.ph. Now I'll be reporting and sharing to you how our portal goes.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Marty. So our next panelist hold on a minute, you guys.
accommodations in relation to the use of e-commerce and social media marketing. Like you, I'm heavily affected by this pandemic. Before, we used to organize learning events, retreats, workshops where we review business models, digital strategies, our digital leadership concerns, no? And we would go to places like rest houses in Tagaytay, in Palawan, in Boracay, even in Cebu, among others, just to be able to get together and do all of these necessary thinking creatively exercises. But of course, times have changed, and now we do all of this online. I have like 3 to 5 webinar mastermind sessions a day with different people or with different groups, just to be able to cope with the various challenges that we are having. Talking about e-commerce, digital marketing, leadership, boosting sales, improving our brands, among others. Now, when I got invited to talk to you today, I was thinking, where are your commerce trends that we are seeing today? I'm very glad that Session Groceries was shown earlier. Eloisa has gone a long way. And, you know, when we were having classes in Baguio, thinking about the e-commerce project that she has, she was working on a different e-commerce project then, and it's amazing how much achievement she has made with that e-commerce project of hers, no? And I think we are now at the point where we need to rethink our future plans and strategies. So worries you, what bothers you. And the usual complaint or concern given to us is competition, including direct and indirect competition, because the little money that we have, to whom do we give it? And our audience is also very distracted because like one day you can do business and the next day you can't, no, because of the lockdown and all the other concerns. And with people saving money, there's also that aspect called commoditization, trying to get the most that you can with the little budget that you have. And when they listen to a lot of talks, majority of them will tell you that you should use social media and keep marketing yourself so that you're able to attract clients. But we also have to recognize that doing social media marketing is not enough, because marketing does not exactly generate you the sales that you want. It's very limited, in fact, because when people see you promote online, it does not necessarily elicit a response. I noticed that Rhea is in the audience. Hi, Rhea. Great to see you here. And I'm sure she will agree with me that when clients see you online, they also have to check whether they want to deal with you. Are you the right person who can help them get what they want? What's your foundation like? Do I like what you stand for? Are you the kind of person who can meet my requirements? And maybe I will start looking into the services that you are offering. And from there, if you have something that can be of use to me, then maybe I'll be willing to do business with you. And that is why when we talk about marketing, where a lot of people will focus on the top of the part here, where people focus on networking, outreach, referral, and using online strategies like public speaking, writing, and web strategy. All of this puts you out there, but it will not necessarily give you the market or give you the sales that you need to generate, because other things will come into play, like am I your target market? Why should I buy from you? What does your brand stand for? As mentioned earlier by the speaker, how do you talk about what you do? Are you credible enough and likable enough to the point that I will deal with you? And how can I enter into your sales cycle process? How do you bring people inside your sales cycle process? And can you follow through? Do you have additional information that you can provide that will keep me engaged while we are on lockdown right now, so that later on, when I'm ready to purchase and take action, I can take the necessary next step? And I think the sales cycles process is very important. Usually when we think about selling something, we have to think about what are the possible entry points for customers to come in. More often than not, we just focus on what we have right now, where we try to make people pay for something. But are there any entry points where we can get them in, like maybe something for free, giving them content, giving them inspirational materials, and then later on, maybe time when you need. And of course, the amount that they will purchase from you will depend on the trust that you were able to establish as to how much money are they willing to sell to you. So when we talk about having a digital strategy and plan of action, there are a lot of options that we can explore. Of course, a lot of the establishments today are limited in their movements, but of course, there's nothing stopping you from making the necessary improvements in your facilities and letting customers know that you are working with them and you look forward having them in your establishment soon. We've also seen some establishments becoming creative also in their marketing approaches, like in this scenario where since we can't accept guests in our hotel, maybe we can explore what are the other good things that we have in the hotel that makes people visit us, like the food that we provide, and delivering that experience to the people in their household so that they can have a taste of what was it like when they used to dine in at your establishments. And you've also seen other markets where they use this time to organize travel markets, getting thinkers from around the world or getting influencers from around the world to start talking about future of travel, what can we do to work together on this. So it doesn't matter wherever you are in the world, you can organize things like this and get influencers to come forward and players who can make things happen where you can put your city, you can put your province, or you can put your organization in the map and say, hey, we're very advanced, we're moving forward, we're very aggressive, we want to be known. In fact, there was a news article a while back where Baguio is branding, and I'd like to use the word branding itself, a safe area, and encouraging everyone in the city to uphold the brand that Baguio is trying to project itself, so that when people want to start traveling again, they want to stick to that idea that we are the safest place to travel. And we've also seen airlines, like in the case of AirAsia, while they are constricted with their travel, also using this opportunity right now to do good, by promoting social enterprises and pushing the products from the social enterprises with their destinationgood.com initiative. You also see country pages like Australia and Hong Kong trying to promote their culture and using their pages to communicate to the market. In an Australian page, I saw that they were posting photos of the beautiful night sky, and then you have Hong Kong promoting a dragon boat festival inspired piece. And of course, if you are into dragon boat, like in my case, I used to be part of the dragon boat team. Seeing content like this excites me because dragon boat competitions are really fun, no? In fact, there was a time where I was hoping that major dragon boat competitions can also take place in areas like Cebu. I think it happened already, but there was a time that there were a lot of talks of bringing the dragon boat festival activities in places like Cebu. And then in other countries, you would see also youth hostels association, like in Thailand, Australia, or India, as early as now, planning their hostels activities, and at the same time, of course, sparking local domestic tourism and getting people also to travel soon and planning that travel, whether it is for domestic travel or whether encouraging international travel if the market is already ready. So there are a lot of areas that we can explore more than what we do now as a business. We don't have to constrict ourselves to our primary business line where we cannot do business today. We can explore other areas so that we can, expand our earning opportunities. And that is why I was emphasizing the sales cycle process and playing around areas of entry where you can still engage your market and help them generate revenue. Now, the moment you decided what area of focus you will do, then I would like to capitalize on sales that we get to talk to. They don't have the actual muscle or resource to work on their brand. So I would encourage you to take many inspiration insofar as branding is concerned. In my case, I've used Sally Hogshead's Passionate methodology when working on branding and using the appropriate language that is necessary to communicate what I want to position, whether in any of these 7 languages of fascination. If you go to brandfascination.com, you can take an assessment and look at what type of brand messaging would suit you. At least it will provide you with an input so that if you will be working with a professional, whether a social media person, a digital marketing person, a website development person, or whoever that be, you can work on the right marketing message that will suit your brand. And of course, suitable also to your personality, especially if you are a sole proprietor. I think it is important that when we market ourselves, like in my case, Digital Filipino just turned 20 years old last year. I remember when we reached our 10th years old, when we reached our 10th year back in 2009, I was confused where should I go, because at that time branding was already popular. You know, there's social media was already hot, and you're seeing a lot of people really coming out and trying to position themselves. And I think the pressure is always there. Can you attract customers? Can you show them that you are the best choice that they so far as social media is concerned? You can use it for brand loyalty. Of course, you can use it for brand awareness, generating leads, establishing relevance and credibility, and promoting sales conversion. And you utilize platforms like websites to do organic marketing, because advertising is not always the answer. And furthermore, engaging your users and creating the next value to have, and hopefully influence that opinion, so that when the decision makers are ready to take action, they'll be able to do something about it, no, and take action, and hopefully in your favor. So what I would suggest when planning your social media campaigns, always work on a 21-day campaign series. As I always mention, life is a series of sprints. You learn and improve from each iteration. In digital marketing, we have a term called like a funnel strategy. Like you have a top of funnel, middle of funnel, and sometimes we also have a bottom of funnel, and sometimes we also want to spark post-purchase. And each of the funnel steps would require different types of content. And whatever stage you are in, you have to make sure that you're targeting the right audience, taking advantage of your existing audience and also this audience. And at this present time where we are in a pandemic, this is the time that we should really work with key partners like the Chamber of Commerce, your local government, your local tourism organization, and all the other interest groups who you can collaborate with and do business with. And the moment you have that in place, then that's the time that you can really start thinking about your digital marketing flow, like the kind of people that you want to work with, what are their pains and gains that you can address now that can help them. You can also think about the products and services that you are promoting in transition during this pandemic and as you transition after the pandemic. The kind of content that you need to generate from awareness, consideration, decision, your content creation process, and of course, creating templates for consistency, because they are all important. Scripts so that you can tailor your stories. I would suggest using mystorybrand.com. It's one of my favorite tools for creating brand scripts so that you can identify with your character, their problems, how you introduce your product or service, the kind of plan that you are giving until you push that call to action. If you are selling products, there are now new technologies available as well where you can connect your websites and show them goods, and they can do their shopping over the mobile phone. And you can also push your promotions through platforms like Facebook, trying to drive more revenue to your business. So there are a lot of tools in existent today. and customer relation management in place so that to make sure that you don't miss any leads and really keep in touch with the customers that are working for you. So with that, I'd like to summarize that when we try to think about building our online presence and take advantage of social media, remember, we need our website, our social media channels, use storytelling as mentioned by the earlier speaker, make sure that we have clear call to action and communicating the result that we are providing. And if we can help our customers, we can also provide customer consultation and keep in touch, have a follow-up strategy so that you can strengthen your relationship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Janet, for the wonderful e-commerce presentation. So we believe that with the COVID pandemic, everybody is online now. So stakeholders and business owners should really make use of the digital online platform in order to brand themselves and market themselves. So thank you for that, ma'am. So our next speaker, before our next speaker, we'd like to invite our viewers and our guests to also ask questions during our open forum because we will be giving away very exciting prizes from our sponsors. Can we show photos of our exciting prizes to encourage people to ask questions? So we have from Serao Garden, we have eco bags, pots of sunflowers, and umbrellas. And also from Adlabon Vacation Farm, we have coupons from them. From Chocolate Chamber, we have 10 prizes of beautiful, delicious chocolates. And of course, from Marco Polo Plaza Cebu, we have 3 boxes of delicious ensaimadas. So after our next speaker, guys, please ask questions. That way you could get a chance to win these prizes. Okay, so our next speaker is none other than Mr. Raymond Villanueva, the Head of Business for QR Ecosystems at Paymaya. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Bridget. Nice
Hi.
to meet you. I believe there is a video presentation
Yes,
that
sir.
will play. So, yeah.
All right, take it away. Okay.
So, good morning or good afternoon. Pangalan ko si Raymond. I'm going to present something that's really in tune with the time towards what's happening. And to you guys in the travel industry, tour operators, I think this is something that might be very, very important. Anyway, I'm Raymond Villanueva from Paymaya. Just a brief introduction who Paymaya is. We're an end-to-end digital payments enabler. So, galing po kaming Pilipinas and most of our employees are actually Filipinos. So we're proudly Pinoy at the reason po na yung pangalan namin is Paymaya is because of the Maya bird. We are a startup but we're fully funded with our major shareholders like PLDT Smart, KKR, Tencent, and also IFC. So to let you guys know a little bit more about Paymaya, what you see kasi most of the time is kung ano yung nasa right-hand side, which is our Paymaya consumer. It's one of the, I guess, most well-known themes and was really targeted to our consumers on the fastest way to get a financial account. So it's download an app, get a financial account, and then you can add money or actually cash out as well in any of the add money touch points or cash out touch points. On the middle side, which is our most popular brand naman, has been around for more than 15 years, is really Smart Padala. Yes, taga Paymaya rin po ang Smart Padala. We have renamed it to Smart Paymaya, giving really our digital remittance network. But today, I'll be discussing primarily on our enterprise business or what we call our merchant business. Paymaya, not many of you guys know or some of you may know, is really built to help merchants accept all forms of payments, whether cashless payments, whether you're a big merchant or a small merchant, whether you're government, whether you are an e-commerce merchant or a face-to-face merchant. Specialization po namin yan. Just a bit of a trivia. around 50 to 70% of all cashless e-commerce transactions passes through Paymaya one way or another. Yan po ang Paymaya. So, kung sino ba ang mga merchants namin, I think will be the main question. Nandiyan si Jollibee, McDonald's, Burger King, Army Navy, Grab, Lalamove, Lazada, Zalora, Agoda, etc. So ito po ay mga big names. And what we're doing right now, at least for the year of 2020, is really offer our merchant products, not just to the big enterprises, but to everybody. So to the travel industry, this next slide is really what we're all about. How do we play a role? How do we help everybody in the cashless journey? I guess in the new normal or the better normal. So what we do really touches on the payment ecosystem altogether. So the first one is, every time somebody books a flight, meron po kaming produkto which is called Paymaya Checkout. It allows, I guess, travel agencies, airlines, Roro, or even any other ticketing system to be able to accept both Visa, MasterCard, GrabPay, Paymaya, wallet payments via websites. And that's one of the things that we're proud of because that's really the originating part of our merchant business. Pagdating naman ni Juan sa Cebu, pwede siyang mag-book ng van towards the resort or any form of, I guess, transportation. And within that whole experience, we actually have a Paymaya One device. Itong Paymaya One device po na to, which is pictured here, is really a mobile device that you can carry by a hand, and it can accept the usual, just like our Paymaya checkout, Visa, MasterCard, Paymaya e-wallets, other e-wallets out there like GrabPay, WeChat Pay, Alipay. So nandyan po lahat. It's one device that's very, very mobile and very, very easy to carry as well. The next one there is actually the following day, si Juan avails of a guided tour in the city. From there naman po, if walang Paymaya One device yung merchant, it could be a Paymaya QR naman, which is also a cashless payment. And ito po, a merchant can accept payments from Paymaya consumers. Million na po ang mga Paymaya consumers. So nandyan na po ang aming Paymaya promos to be able to push a lot more activities towards, I guess, these merchants. And we'd be more than happy to support local tourism because I think this is one of the big pushes. On this last day naman, on the next one, Juan pays the hotel resort via Paymaya One. It's very much the same as the same Paymaya One device, whether that's Visa or MasterCard or Paymaya QR. Now it moves towards paano naman ang mga resort owners which received money from their Paymaya One device. They can actually pay their LGU websites already. Napakalakas din po ni Paymaya sa government payments, and the owner then remits his SSS contributions via the Paymaya checkout within the LGU. From there naman, once the LGU is able to collect the taxes, we are then able to disburse aid. Paymaya is also very active in being able to disburse to beneficiaries. And then yung beneficiaries naman receives the money via their Paymaya wallet. So ito po ang naging flow namin just to show you where Paymaya plays and where Paymaya is present. I'll focus a little bit naman on the building blocks of a digital business. I think once we're seeing more and more that digital is playing a key role, we're starting to see that both cashless payments and also e-commerce plays a critical role in the better normal. That's where we come in. The ABC, or the building blocks of a digital business, focusing on you, the business people, the merchants. Nandito ang ABC, and we call it the CCC. Because quite honestly, the CCC is the most critical path in being able to build your digital business. Number one is connectivity. Syempre, ang digital business cannot go through without the proper connectivity. And that's why our partners with PLDT and Smart will always be there to help you get connected to the internet at any form possible, whether it's via fiber or via your wireless mobile phones. And I think that's really critical because being connected allows you to be able to push your business a little bit further. The next C is really about e-commerce. E-commerce, galing po akong US before. I was the e-commerce marketing, I guess, head of Gap.com. And what Gap.com is a retailer in the US, owners of Old Navy and Banana Rep. And I've seen this before. The way we transitioned into e-commerce, very critical po ang commerce part. Very critical ang pagbuo ng digital presence. I'll give advice on the next slides. But the third one to complete the loop is the ability naman for checkout, the third C, the ability to accept cashless payments. This makes it not just more convenient, but also a lot safer in terms of being able to absorb or being able to accept digital payments. So let's go into tip number 1, e-commerce everywhere. Nasa US ako, lagi ang push is all about the website. Ang transition po ngayon ng e-commerce in the Philippines is very different from what you read in the US. I call it e-commerce everywhere. Ang e-commerce everywhere is you have to be able to build locations the same way you have locations on your, I guess, more face-to-face business where you invest on very, very good locations para malago ang business mo. Should be the same exact mindset. You should also invest in locations in the digital space. Kasi sa totoo lang, digital will fast become a critical piece or the main component of your business. When I first started in the Gap.com, it was 3% of their business. Pag alis ko, it was already more than 15% of their business, and I was only there for 3 years. With what's happening now during the pandemic, I see this really escalating the same way it did in the US, but it's very different. The first one is there are 3 critical locations that I feel e-commerce should be present. The first one is the marketplaces. When I say marketplaces, ito yung mga aggregated sources of digital channels, whether it be Grab, Foodpanda, Lazada, Shopee, basta anytime you can actually create your own presence in a specific location or website, we call it marketplaces. And I encourage everybody to be present in all marketplaces. However, the next 2 is the critical on how do you scale. You need to build your own brand. The same way everybody knows your own location, you need to build your own website or what we call now the emerging conversational commerce. Bulk of the transactions now is happening both on the website and conversational commerce. Sometimes people forget na you also need to build your own presence outside of the marketplaces. So that is really tip number 1. You need to have e-commerce everywhere. The next tip, now more than ever, you must accept all forms of payments. All forms of payments is really critical, especially now that you know that consumers have so many options in terms of paying. Nandiyan ang mga Paymaya QR payments, nandiyan ang Visa and MasterCard via POS payments, nandiyan ang send money or even bank transfers, nandiyan din ang online payment checkouts using Visa, MasterCard, and other forms of e-wallets. This is probably the most practical advice that I have. Tinatanong ako usually, do I accept GCash or Paymaya or GrabPay or any form of payment? Advice ko is simple. If you're a merchant, you should accept all kasi hindi mo alam kung ano ang preference ng consumer mo sa pagbabayad. The advice there is that the good thing is you don't pay naman if you're not using it. So it's really beneficial for you to be able to do it. So ngayon, how does Paymaya play a role? Si Paymaya po ay omni-channel payment acceptance. We accept both face-to-face and online. This allows you to simplify your operations, to simplify your finance team. So the last bit of advice naman before I go into the wrap-up is really the mindset. Yung mindset kasi yung pinakamahirap. As you'll see, you're gonna start spending for things, investing on things that you're not used to. Kung before you invest in locations or pagpapaganda ng shop mo, It's the same exact logic when you're doing e-commerce naman or digital payments or even digital commerce. Kasi sa totoo lang, you need to be able to invest the same way you've invested in physical locations. That is the mindset shift and probably tip number 3 that kasi sa totoo lang, sometimes people are scared of costs. If you take a step back, these investments need to happen for you to be able to digital. Best time to do it, and whoever this time because you get faster than everybody else. So among benefits, I'll focus a little bit. Protection from the virus and less cash handling. I think that is the big push. Cashless payments and contactless payments from all over the world via the PayMaya solutions. So that sums up my whole presentation. Again, it's ABC, CCC, and the top 4 tips. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at inquiry@paymaya.com. Thank you for everything. My name is Raymond. Any questions, reach out to me. Thank you for your time.
For okay, this is from Rhea to all the panelists. To say Maya, I wonder how much the rates are, or have you lowered processing fees? If so, that would be helpful. Sir Raymond, would you care to answer the question?
Yeah, so Raymond, jumping in here. So our costs and I guess our merchant rates are definitely very, I guess, competitive based on the market. The reason behind that is we're a local player. So we also control all our platforms. We don't outsource any of them. So you should be able to get the best rates. To give you an idea, we have been aggressive in being able to provide as many cashless payments and forms of payments as well. It really depends on your type of business. Every type of business has different rates based on the merchant category or the service that you're providing. So I unfortunately can't answer your question directly as clearly as possible because it really depends on your type of business. But for PayMaya QR payments, yes, it's actually one of the most aggressive, I guess, payments compared to Visa, MasterCard, and all e-wallets. I think generally we have the QR payments here in the Philippines are within the same range. So yes, very competitive, and I think we're going to continue having those rates at least for year 2020 as we encourage local tourism, as we encourage kind of like local payments, and as we encourage the economy to bounce back.
Okay. Awesome. And I have a follow-up question for you, Sir Raymond. How much is the merchant fee for Pay Maya? And I guess you answered that question. It depends on the business, right? Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the type of business.
Okay,
Yeah.
and another question is, I have a Pay Maya account before using my old number. How do I retrieve it?
Okay, got it. So I can probably help you with that. Generally speaking, you can actually do a forget password, but that's for your consumer account. I just want to clarify, there is a merchant account, there is a consumer account. So for consumer accounts, reaching out to our customer service to be able to retrieve your password is probably the easiest way to do it. A forget password is one of them. If that doesn't work, I guess calling our hotline, and also just reach out to me if you need a little help on that. Paymaya would more than gladly help you get your account back in order.
All right, awesome. Thank you, sir. All right, the next question is for Ma'am Marty Ibanez. This is from Aegean Brioso. How can major and trusted brands develop an effective business strategy when the government has not adopted uniform criteria as to when businesses should be reopened, shifting between ECQ, MECQ, and GCQ?
Come again? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Sorry, no problem. How can major and trusted brands develop an effective business strategy when the government has not adopted uniform criteria as to when businesses should be reopened, shifting between ECQ, MECQ, and GCQ?
Yeah, actually, that's also one of the struggles and challenges we're facing right now because here in Cebu province, even in tourism, we're already open to the tourism activity for the MGCQ, but for the GCQ and other status, it's not yet available. So for the businesses also on that point, maybe we have to really just adjust, or like for example that I know of, they just really try and see how the LGUs that they are there, getting their mayor's permit or business permit granted, to just adjust on how they're really taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and thank you, ma'am. We're very excited with the reopening of this
I am.
Yeah.
Sunburn and all, no sleep, but yes, I am very excited regarding it.
Yeah, us too. Okay, thank you, ma'am, for the answer. So our next question is for Eastern Telecom, from Gabriel Bernabe. How can Eastern Telecom help hotels from making utilities like internet as fixed cost to variable cost, considering the present circumstances of low occupancy, yet bigger demand of connectivity? Hold on. We have our speaker from Eastern Telecom.
Well, I'm Paco. I'm here in representation of Eastern, but I don't have the technical reply that I think this gentleman is asking for.
Maybe
Let
you
me
can send it to someone else.
send me the name, and I'll connect him with someone from the Eastern PR team who could probably give him a better answer.
Okay, awesome. That'd be awesome, sir. Okay. Do we have any other questions from our viewers? All right. We have one, Okay. We have one from Agent Brioso. How can major and trusted brands, okay, we already asked this question. Okay, and Ma'am Marty already answered this. All right, I think we're good, you guys. Thank you so much for gracing our event. You guys have been really awesome. I learned so much from you. Thank you very much. So let's move forward to our new normal and reestablish our tourism industry. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you too. All right, that's it for our panel discussion, our Q&A. So the next part is the raffle. So do we have winners for our raffles for exciting prizes?
Ms. Bridget, we'll do the raffling of items. Per item, I'll have a drawing of name.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Let's do it. I know a lot of people are excited to win some prizes today. The live draw.
Yeah, the first winner for Zero Garden, one umbrella. Mr. Virgilio Espeleta of PAMCOR, and past president of Cebu Chamber. The next winner for Eco Bags from Sirao Garden is Mr. Justin Rama of Netherlands.
Congratulations for Justin.
Sirao Garden, one Eco Bag, Mr. Ali Garcia of Isla Licana. Next winner for one table topper from Adlawan Vacation Farm is Gabriel Bernabe of Aurora Premier Hotel. Lastly, chocolate chamber gift item from Miss Celia Liz Alburo of RLB Services. That's also the first set of
batch of winners.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bell. Ms. Bell, how do our winners claim their prizes?
The prizes will be delivered to their address. We'll be texting them and ask for their address so that Lala Move will pick up the items and deliver to the address that they will give us.
Oh, awesome. That's very convenient for our winners then. Thank you, Ms. Bell, and congratulations to the winners. All right, so the next part of our program, I would like to call on my co-host and co-moderator, Ma'am Alice Cablatian, who will be talking to us about interpreting culture and people through virtual tours. Ma'am Alice, I pass on the floor to you.
I'm taking over as your host for the rest of this afternoon. We had a very exciting and inspiring and very heartwarming presentation this morning, informative as well, so that it really pushes us to move up to the second level, which is how to match the content with the technology. So while indeed global travel is very limited these days, it should have stopped us from using our time, which we have in our hands, to think of an array of attractions and present them in new imaginative ways with the help of technology, so that when travelers start again, we will be top of mind. To begin, therefore, our session on the virtual tour, it is my pleasure to introduce our senior expert in tourism from POM, Netherlands, with a vast experience as a teacher.
Hello, my name is Yvonne van der Kroft, and I'm working in the travel industry for a very long time now. First as a tour operator and later as a teacher and a lecturer. Well, at the moment, the travel industry has given up hope that tourism will show another revival. The current year is considered last, and for 2021, experts are not very positive either. First, the doubts and the uncertainty must be allayed. Hopefully, a corona vaccine will be available everywhere from the beginning of the year. After that, the desire to travel will return, also far away. Never waste a good crisis, that's a statement people know. But what do you do with that if you, as an entrepreneur, are at home and are thinking about how to face this acute crisis? How do you keep your employees working? How do you maintain cash flow? Why should you think about the future right now? And when will that future come? given the great uncertainty about how long the corona crisis will last. At the moment, thinking about the future is not just a luxury, but it's very necessary. Okay, there's a wisdom saying that now seems more than important. Only a crisis produces real change. And when that crisis occurs, the actions are taken depend on the ideas. And well, it's often the case that positive ideas leads to more action and generates better solutions than negative ideas. And this also applies to the corona crisis. Taking good look at the positive ideas that are already there are more important than ever. Well, we have to collaborate, and maybe in some way different than in other periods, because now it's not just your own business that needs to be promoted. We have to convince people that Cebu is the most beautiful and safest place in the world, and that it's the place to go after this crisis. The goal is to share our experiences from the island and convince people to come to Cebu as soon as possible. We have to stay home, but we don't have to sit still. Fortunately, professional development does not have to come to a standstill, now that it looks like we will be tied to our houses for a longer period. The online society is receiving an enormous boost. Everyone is investing in new ways to arrange things online with each other, but also to communicate more meaningfully. From very simple to complicated, it is possible to promote your company online. It has not to be very complicated. You can create your own vlog or blog. Prepare Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. This is also the topic of the next speakers. They will explain and show possibilities of panoramic images, professional virtual tours, and 360-degree videos. We have to keep the promises we make, and so education is also very important. For example, you can make a vlog about housekeeping. People has to see the rooms are very clean, and you can also do that together. So if two people make a vlog of cleaning the room, well, it's very simple. You can do it with your phone and show it to the people online. You can share it by Facebook or Instagram. It doesn't have to be very complicated. Same with food and beverage. You can share your favorite Cebu dish and also show the people how clean the kitchens are and everything. So, well, that's also a possibility. We also can improve our language skills. There are special apps. They are not too expensive and very easy to use. Well, for example, did you know that if British people say it's very interesting, you will maybe think they mean they are very impressed, but actually they mean I don't believe it at all. Or if they say quite good, oh, you think, oh, it's kind of okay, but they mean it's quite disappointing. So maybe it's an idea to improve your language skills. There are a lot of e-learning programs you can follow. You can study at home when and where you want. So that's maybe an idea to do. Intercultural things. Well, more knowledge about other cultures. There are more than 5,000 cultures in the world, and each culture has its own common with the other, has its own uses. So, well, maybe it's good to know something about other cultures in the world. I've made this quiz. So that's also an opportunity to keep in touch online with your employees or with each other, with the tour guides, with the tour operators, and you can make a quiz for each other and do it like this. So you can train, for example, the other cultures or something else. It doesn't matter. The right answer is C. Okay. Another question, the right answer is A. So that's how you can do it on the internet, and it's very funny to do with each other. Just a small movie.
Imagine you're standing on a street
about
in
culture.
America, and a Japanese man comes up to you and says, "Excuse me, what is the name of this block?" You say, "I'm sorry, well, this is Oak Street, that's Elm Street. This is 26th, that's 27th." He says, "Okay, but what is the name of that block?" You say, "Well, blocks don't have names. Streets have names. Blocks are just the unnamed spaces in between streets." He leaves a little confused and disappointed. So now imagine you're standing on a street anywhere in Japan. You turn to a person next to you and say, "Excuse me, what is the name of this street?" And they say, "Oh, well, that's block 17 and this is block 16. And you say, "Okay, but what is the name of this street?" They say, "Well, streets don't have names. Blocks have names. Just look at Google Maps here. There's block 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All of these blocks have names. The streets are just the unnamed spaces in between the blocks." And you say, "Okay, then how do you know your home address?" He said, "Well, easy. This is District 8. There's block 17, house number 1. You say, "Okay, but walking around the neighborhood, I noticed that the house numbers don't go in order." I said, "Of course they do. They go in the order in which they were built. The first house ever built on a block is house number 1. The second house ever built is house number 2. Third is house number 3. It's easy. It's obvious." So I love that sometimes we need to go to the opposite side of the world to realize assumptions we didn't even know we had and realize that the opposite of them may also be true. So for example, there are doctors in China who believe that it's their job to keep you healthy. So any month you are healthy, you pay them. And when you're sick, you don't have to pay them because they failed at their job. They get rich when you're healthy, not sick. In most music, we think of the one as...
Well, this is just an example in a very simple way to share your experiences and knowledge about other cultures. And so you can make this about every topic, I think. Also, non-verbal communication is very important. For example, did you know that this okay sign means something different all over the world? And also this thumbs up sign. Well, I think it's very funny to know that those signs are, are meaning something else all over the world. Till so far, my presentation, and our ultimate goal is excellence, how we deal with our guests and our environment. And at the moment, well, it's the only thing we have is online. I'm not an expert in that, but I showed you the simple ways to do that. And the next speaker will explain everything about video and 360 movies. So thank you very much for your attention and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, for that very interesting and presentation, and for reiterating that unique culture, traditions, and our lifestyle is exactly the meat and the content of the stories that we can tell in different forms or even platforms or new technology. So moving forward, let us now see the excitement of a new technology, which is the 360 image virtual tour technology. You will see in this presentation showcasing 3 specific destinations in the city. Land and 1 in the city of Cebu. Now, what is very interesting in this technology is that it can be very interactive. So we will flash on the screen the 3 links to these different 3 destinations, which you can manipulate and navigate by accessing these links on your own laptop. So as the video presentation goes, please enjoy and participate in the 360 virtual tour experience by navigating these free destinations. So please have fun in the hilly land and the city in 360 images.
Hello, welcome to Sirao Garden, Little Amsterdam of Cebu. And I would like to let you know and give you the history of Sirao Garden and why it is called as a Little Amsterdam. Let's start. I'm sure you are already curious at this time why it's called Mini Amsterdam or Little Amsterdam. 2015, this group of hilly land management gave some seeds to the farmers in the mountain, and they tried to plant these celosia flowers. And these celosia flowers is called Greek name Kelios, that's celosia, which means burning. We have these radiant colors like yellow, orange, and red. I gave the idea to the farmers that we will make it as a whole year round garden. So we started a small windmill, which is it's like in Amsterdam, and we had the tea house, which we can host like exclusive for 10 people only. And we are starting now, we called it as a glass house, where it's like a small museum. I will put some paintings inside, and we'll put in the future a small canteen inside, and relaxation like massage. We have these sunflowers, which gives sunshine to everyone. I tried to bring it to the city at this time of COVID-19 pandemic, that I have to give away to those people who have like mental illness. Somebody called me and told me that she had depression and she wants my sunflowers. So what I did is I gave her sunflower and said that it really helped her. And this is the giant hand. We called it as a caring hands. I really wanted to help the people in Sirao, not even only to my staff, but the neighborhood, which I'm giving them commerce, like they're selling their local food they harvested, like their vegetables and banana. Hi, I'm Elena C. Chua and the owner of Sirao Garden, Little Amsterdam. Thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you soon and stay safe.
Hello, my name is Trixie Ortiz Rengli. I'm the marketing manager for Adlawan Vacation Farm, and I'd like to welcome you to AVF. Adlawan Vacation Farm is a 15-hectare farm. We are into organic farming. We have a full fresh farm-to-table restaurant. We have many recreational activities, and we are ideal really for families looking to get away. We are PWD and senior citizen friendly. And I think that if you're looking for a place to renew and rejuvenate, it's really perfect for you. So welcome to ABF. Okay, so let's start our tour in the lodge. So we have Cocina Luce that offers fresh farm-to-table dishes. So right now, to be as safe as possible, we've put up additional safety protocols to comply with guidelines. We have table shields, social distancing. We have one entrance and exit only, and our staff comes with masks, face shields, and gloves to ensure your security. The food we serve in Cocina Luce, aside from being fresh farm to table, are homemade. So after Cocina Luce, when you're done with your delicious meal, you can actually explore more of AVF. Our Forest Nook is actually the site of quite a few AVF weddings. It's perfect because it's rustic and it's set in our mahogany forest. Continuing with the tour, so this is actually our AVF Farmers Market. This is where we sell our organic fruits and vegetables. We say organic because AVF is, I would say, 90% organic. So everything we use is actually from our own farm, mostly composting, which is the heart of our sustainable practice and organic farming. So as you go down from the main lodge, you will find the souvenir shop. So the souvenir shop sells many of our products that our farm wives make, and our farm hands as well. So AVF has always been very adamant about being a part of the community. So this is our AVF payag. We call it the payag. It's actually a cottage which has 2 rooms. Each room can fit 10 people. So it's very ideal for those having family reunions, big family gatherings. So this is our bridal arc. This is also the site of many, many prenups. This bridal arc, fun fact, was grown all organically and took us about 10 years to grow. And it is beside our campsite. So you can also camp in AVF. We will supply you with a tent and with the beddings. All you really need to bring is yourself. So as we go back to the lodge, you will see that we have 3 rooms in AVF. Come fully equipped with 2 single beds and a fully functional bathroom. It's air conditioned, and you also have your own small area outside for sitting. You can enjoy the view at night, and we also have a PWD room. Thank you for coming on the tour with me, and we hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you in AVF soon. Please like our page for updates and details, or you may reach us at our mobile, which is also on our Facebook page. And I hope you stay safe during this time.
So welcome to the Chocolate Chamber Academy here in Casa de Cacao. We're located in Castles Village, Mabolo, Cebu City. So over here in this chocolate virtual tour, you can see you're gonna be seeing the place and some of the cacao farming. So you can just go inside. And here in Casa de Cacao, this was a place that the children of the Chocolate Queen, so there's actually 8 of us, we all grew up here, but eventually became like a place where we're able to share and promote Philippine chocolate and the legend of Mary Cacao. This place I'm showing you right now is where we typically welcome our guests, and we show them some beans. So you can see here that there's the evolution of the beans, or how chocolate was made step by step through the process, like a quick overview. But before we continue, I want to bring you to the farm. So you can see here, this is the Tubaran Cacao Farm. This is the cacao nursery that we in a partnership with the co-op FCCT. But if ever you're interested in farming, we also have a small demo farm in Balamban, so it's a bit closer to the city. And here we can show some of our guests, or even some youth who are interested in learning how to plant cacao. We'll teach them how to graft some seedlings So going back to the virtual tour, and the second floor is where you can see the process of roasting. So roasting is actually a crucial step in making your chocolate. It develops the flavor, and you're able to shell out your beans easier. Some companies would actually use big machines or even some ovens to roast the beans, but we prefer to stick to the traditional way and to do it artisanally. So everything here is handmade. So we can now go in Casa de Cacao. So let's start with the first room, the chocolatada. So chocolatada is typically known for like the room for to host a chocolate party. And here is a setup of by the chocolate queen. And typically it's part of the legend of Maria Cacao, where Maria Cacao would actually bring silverwares and abundant of like plates and host a party. So this is a small interpretation of how it looked like in the Palace of Maria Cacao. And here you can see some chocolate cakes, and some products that we've displayed, like tablea and the tablea. The tablea is 100% pure chocolate, or in culinary terms, it's called cocoa liquor. And the good thing about enjoying the tablea in its purest form is that you're able to enjoy some health benefits with it, which I'll be talking about in our chocolate virtual tour. And so when you first enter the garaje, you'll be able to see my affair with chocolate, which is actually, it tells you the story of the chocolate queen and how she grew up. It all started in Balamban, and how she had to cross 7 rivers just to get to school. And she eventually became a labandera and a basurera in Manila, and eventually when she came back to Cebu, she started her life when she was 16 years old. And eventually, after having 8 kids, she saw her passion in chocolate, and she remembered her teachings from her grandmother, Nanay Nila, and that's how she started the chocolate chamber. Thank you for joining us in this virtual tour here in Casa de Cacao, and I am looking forward to seeing you in our Beyond Chocolate series. Here you're able to experience and so much more in seeing how chocolate is made, but you're also able to experience it with all your senses, and you're able to feed your soul as well. You'll also be able to learn the health benefits of cacao and the history behind chocolate here in the Philippines.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. And wasn't that exciting? There are really 3 places that we know already. We've been there, but now we're looking at it with a new perspective and with more depth. And that is what the 360 technology will do. It is exactly what we should be doing right now with the free time in our hands. Think of what product, what destination we would like to recreate and reimagine, and maybe get into some kind of an understanding of a higher form of technology that could really bring it more alive. And it's my pleasure this afternoon to call on the gentlemen, the team behind the production of the 360 virtual tour. And may I call on Ryan Tanyu, the CEO of Metaverse, to explain the technology a little bit more, how to create it, how to use it to its maximum performance to make an experience more alive. So may I now call on Ryan.
Ma'am Alice, thank you so much for the introduction. We have prepared a quick video that, just a 15-minute video that explains how virtual tours work, how you can get started, and I believe we're going to play it in a moment. All right, so that was a video presentation on the 360-degree interactive virtual tour made by Paprika and Metaverse for Cereal Garden, Adlaon Vacation Farm, and the Chocolate Chamber. Now, in this part of our virtual event, we're going to talk about how. How does it work? How to get started? How can you virtually provide these experiences to your guests that are otherwise unable to come over? If at any point in this virtual event you wish to virtually experience the tours that you have just watched, feel free to click or tap on the link that have been provided that lead you to the interactive 360-degree experience. Now, there's so much to talk about, but we have so little time, so I'll spare you the rationale on why or how the pandemic has pushed us to lean on technology now more than ever. I mean, the pandemic has restricted travel, crippled tourism operations, reduced tourist interest. But you know, these are things you already know. What else do we know? Now, let's evaluate. What platforms are we working with here? One, YouTube and 360, it's 360-degree media support. YouTube, Facebook, Google Maps, these support 360-degree photos and videos. And of course, Google Maps provides directions, which is of course what tourists need, and reviews. You already know that. There are also websites and mobile apps. Now, depending on the size of your business, you may not have access to owning or resource, you may not have the resources to actually build your own website or mobile apps. No need to fret. There are current entities, especially the Cebu province provincial government, in collaboration with its private providers. They're building website, mobile apps, and you know those are two things that are within arm's reach for you as a tour operator. Lastly, cameras, and we're going to talk a lot about cameras. Of course, I'm talking about cameras that are in your phones, in your pocket. They take more than just selfies. You'll be surprised to find out that they actually take 360-degree photos. All right, so we have the platforms, right? What can we do with them? What we'll talk about more. And I'd like to note that the first three that I had just mentioned, YouTube, Facebook, Google Maps, these are the platforms where you can publish your 360-degree media. And that supports this scalability aspect where you shoot once an environment, publish it onto any of these platforms, and it'll be there forever. And of course, that also plays along well in terms of preservation. If you were to take a 360-degree photo of an environment, publish that online, it'll be there forever. Look back to that day that you were shooting 20 years later, right? Like it's like virtually visiting the place 20 years back, 20 years in the past. But more about that later. Again, we have these platforms and what we can do with them. Now, how can you start creating virtual tours? Out of the many ways you can create virtual tours across its wide variety, right? A wide range of possibilities. I'm just going to talk about three today. Guided video tours, DIY, 360-degree with media with your smartphone, and full-on virtual tours. Okay, now these three are the things you can do right now, like right tomorrow. And of course, that's the reason, of course, that I'm focusing on these three out of the many, because we are trying to get something done, right? We're in a standstill. We have been dealt with these circumstances. Let's do what we can. Again, guided virtual tours, guided video tour, 360-degree media published by yourself, or let's call it DIY, and full virtual tours provided by service providers. First, guided video tours. Now, this is very similar to what you were just watching right before this segment, where Sirao, Adlaon Vacation Farm, and the Chocolate Chamber talked about the history, the function, the amenities, the different reasons you want to experience their facility. So it's that simple. A video tour, a guided video tour is that simple. It could be just you holding up a phone against your face, talking about stuff. Or it could be a full-on production where you have all these rigs pointing at your face. So that's like the simplest, right? In order of complexity, these three are. That would be the easiest to accomplish. Guided video tours. Now here are some tips on how to create these guided video tours. One is don't underestimate the value of free. If you're a little camera shy as the owner, you can tap on tap into this wide influencer community. A lot of people locally want to travel and have that gusto, to promote local tourist spots. And most or some of them will take next to nothing. Just the experience itself will be enough. So don't underestimate that value of giving free stuff, like free tours to these influencers. And in return, of course, they try to promote your business. That's tip number one. Number two, as you create a guided video tour, you're going to want to make sure that your script or whatever you're delivering in that video tour addresses the three most important things that a tourist would want to hear or learn about. Why, what, and how. Why? Why would they want to come over, right? Why would they want to experience that? Why does your place exist? And that's, another reason for you to highlight history. Why it works, perhaps this can come from testimonials from previous guests, why they like it, So that's one, why. Two is what. What does it offer? What can they bring home? What needs to be done during and before the tour? What's in it for them, right? What immortalizes that experience, in the form of a souvenir, a photo, or whatever. So that's what they can gain from that experience. And how? Of course, this tells the tour operator how pretty much everything works, how to get there, how to initiate the tour, how to book from top to bottom. Again, why, what, how. These should be included in your script as you create this guided video tour. Lastly, keep it short and simple. Everyone has a very short attention span now, so of course you want to maybe bring it down to maybe under 2 minutes as you're creating a guided video tour, with the exception of course, full-on blogs that influencers are, very known to create. So again, don't underestimate the value of free. Script must show what, why, and how. And KISS, K-I-S-S, keep it short and simple. That's for virtual tour type 1, let's call it that. Guided video tour. Next is the DIY virtual tour. DIY virtual tour is again you taking a 360-degree photo using your smartphone. Question is how? How do you take a 360-degree photo with your smartphone? That's done by a single mobile app. There's this mobile app called Google Street View that allows you to use your phone, take multiple photos, and that app basically stitches it together to form that 360-degree photo. That photo, that file is simply the same as any file, like a selfie you may have taken, any photo, any image. That is the file then that you can upload to Facebook, Google Maps, and whatnot. It'll look distorted, but that's the 360 file. Now, as you are taking these photos, and again, you download, these are the steps. you download the 360, the Google Street View app, and pretty much follow the on-screen instructions. Here are some tips, or for a bit of a demonstration, I guess. This is how you can create a 360-degree photo using your phone, using Google Street View as the mobile app. You download the download the mobile app, run it, follow the on-screen instructions, and how it works is it'll ask you to take 360 or take photos of the surrounding, right? The app then stitches it together. Now, here are some tips on how to take 360 photos. One, mind the shadow. So you're gonna want to take that photo as at sunrise or during a cloudy day. Of course, obviously, a 360 photo shows everything, so you're not gonna want to be in the shot. And of course, your shadow is you. So shoot maybe during sunrise, before the sun actually rises, or on a cloudy day. That's tip number one. Two is camera must be centered, and this is what I'm trying to do. As you're taking photos, move the camera around you, or excuse me, move around the camera. So the lens must be at a single point throughout the whole duration. You can still do this, which is moving the camera around you, but that can introduce errors, stitching errors, and that brings me to the next tip, which is avoid tight spaces. A good rule of thumb is 3 meters apart. Don't take 360 photos of like a place like this where it's a tight space where you can, stitching errors are bound or tend to happen. And of course, again, outdoor works best, especially when you're flaunting an environment. Now, tip number 4 is flaunt your colors. As you take 360-degree photos, you're going to want to pop some colors in there. Compare Sirao Flower Garden and that aerial 360-degree photo you were just seeing to a warehouse, a bland monochromic photo, right? Which looks best? Of course, colors look better. Lastly, make it personal. When you take 360 photos, again, keep in mind that it'll be forever. So whatever is in that photo will be immortalized. Make sure that it defines the identity of your business, of the experience. All right, so where do you upload these 360 photos that you have just taken with your smartphone using the Google Street View app? You can upload them to Facebook, as you notice. You've been seeing these 360-degree photos on Facebook now. Google Maps, and that's basically what our company has done over the last 2 years. We've been contributing and adding photos of your tourist destinations, by the way, I'll tell you more later, to Google Maps. Or to your website or mobile app. And again, I'll tell you a bit more about that later. All right, so I've covered guided video tours, DIY or do-it-yourself smartphone-based 360-degree photos. And the last but not the least is let the pros do it. You can hire virtual tour service providers. There's not a lot at the moment, but you can bet that there are going to be a lot of virtual tour providers, virtual tour creators in the future. But this is the third thing you can do today or tomorrow. If you do a quick Google search or just look them up on Facebook, virtual tours. There are a couple of companies that are now providing virtual tours here in Cebu. Why would you want to? They have dedicated 360-degree equipment, aerial 360, underwater 360, like maybe in Oslob, or if you want a 360-degree photo with whale sharks surrounding you. So that's possible. And lastly, for indoors and outdoor 360-degree shooting, these virtual tour providers have a wide array of equipment that they can use for whatever situation, whether tight, loose, outdoor, indoors, low light, sunlight, direct sunlight, whatever. So that's a good reason to let the pros do it. Some tips on why you would want to take the third approach is, or some tips on when you take the third approach of letting the pros do it. Here are 4. 1, know what you want. Remember that your audience are gonna look around. Of course, it's a 360-degree photo. Know what you want to show on that 360 photo or in the virtual tour. Second, mind the audience. Think about what they will feel as they virtually experience that tour. Third, check your Google Maps location. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Check your Google Maps location because there's a good chance that you already have a 360-degree photo, most likely by our company, because we have collaborated with the Cebu provincial government in uploading or virtualizing the tour destinations of Cebu, and that's pretty much what we did over the last year. So check your Google Maps location. If you don't have a 360-degree photo yet, let us know. Actually, we can do it for free. The fourth tip is collaborate. A lot of these virtual tour service providers are actually interested in virtualizing your location as well. So you're not alone in this fight. Collaborate with these virtual tour providers, and you might as well get it for free. So those are the 3 ways you can create virtual tours. And I'd like to keep this up, but like all good things, this segment has to end. I'll be here for your questions and answers. I'm about 2 minutes past my time. And thank you. Thank you for tuning in. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Ryan, for that very detailed technical description of how to do the 360 virtual tour. I think I would rather get someone who can really do it professionally than use a camera. Okay, at this point in time, we are going to entertain a few questions because from your questions, we have, is Yvonne still around? I heard that she left already. But Ryan is around. If you have any questions directed to Ryan, or if you have any question directed to me as a tour operator, I can also answer that relative to the use of the virtual tour in tour packaging or tour presentation. And after the forum, the open forum, we will have the raffle draw because we still have very exciting prizes left for this portion. Okay, so do we have the questions? Anybody has a question? Remember that we have prizes for the people who will come up with questions. The prizes at stake, we will have a gift certificate from Adlawan for a party of 5 maximum to go to the farm and use a room there for a day trip. We also have another gift certificate for a couple who will be who will stay there for a day with complimentary entrance fees and a meal set for 2. Then we also have they're giving away a quilted souvenir, which is made by the women or the wives of the farmers in Adlawan. And then we also have 2 gifts of chocolate delicacies that will be given by the chocolate chamber. So are there questions coming up?
I see some.
If there are no questions, I put Eddie. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just reading some of these questions that have been sent to our group chat.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So this isn't for me. What is your take on payments through cryptocurrency?
Yeah, that was the speaker.
Okay. Yeah, there's this question by Christine Jane Pardillo.
Okay.
Do you have competitors with this newest platform? Yes and no, actually. There are ways that we compete with existing companies, like, for example, the company of Cernat Ibanez, who was responsible for that video earlier. What they do is they do production, right? Photos, videos. In a way, they can provide virtual tours. So in that way, yes, we are competitors. But if you're asking about the full scale of capabilities that our company is capable, such as perhaps the number of varieties in 360 that we do, underwater, aerial, all that kind of stuff, not that I know, but in a few months, I'm very confident a lot of these virtual tour providers are going to pop up in Cebu.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Ryan. Here's a question. Considering that a chunk of our clients are international tour agencies and local tourists who normally do not book with tourist transportation services. I don't really see the question. Maybe it means, maybe the question is that a lot of the clients do not book with tour operators, so they just go straight. Is that the question? Well, that's really part of the, what do you call this, of the pattern or the behavior of tourists. When they come here, they could either do it yourself tour by directly arriving from the airport, taking out a car, and then going straight to wherever they go. Now, what I can see really as a big value of the virtual tours that all of us are doing now, there are two or three virtual tours that are already going on in the city, and you can contact the tour operators. While there is still no opportunity, people get excited by what they see on the internet or in their tablet or in their mobile phones. And if we
For the first winner, Miss will receive Zero Garden 1 basket of veggies. Sir Alde Garcia of PWC Isla Lipana. Second winner, Adlawon will receive Adlawon Vacation Farm with free entrance with set of meal for two, 1 voucher. Sir Raymond Fernandez of Cebu Association of Tour Guides. For the last one, will receive Chocolate Chamber. Complimentary day you stay at guest room, 1 voucher. Miss Adrian Brioso. And for the last one, Chocolate Chamber, he will receive Chocolate Chamber gift items for 2, Mr. Lambert Quezon, Catalina Car Rentals. That's all, Miss Alice.
Thank you very much, Maribel. So to formally close our tourism summit this afternoon, it was really an exciting, memorable, and inspiring session. The past 2 hours really gave us an insight on what's happening, what can we do, and where are we going forward. So to bring it to a close, we would like to ask the chairman of the Cebu Business Month, Mike Cobus, to give you the closing remarks.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for all your time. And we have learned a lot. So as we come to the conclusion of the CBM 2020, Bring It On Tourism, so with the theme of technology and the future of travel and tourism, this is the first of its kind within the framework of celebrating Cebu Business Month. I am grateful to our esteemed guests who inspired us today with discussions and presentations, and most especially to the presence of our Honorable Provincial Governor Gwendolyn Garcia through Representative Board Red Duterte, and to our Department of Tourism Secretary, Honorable Bernadette Puya. So, and my deepest thanks to the moderators, our distinguished speakers, participants, and with their insightful contributions and recommendations, who made this virtual summit a success. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has presented the tourism industry with one of its greatest challenges, testing the industry's resilience, solidarity, and multilateral cooperation. While our attention is rightly focused on fighting the virus, we can no longer pause in our efforts in managing and promoting tourism in the region. Managing the return of the tourism industry while continuing to fight the virus is a complex and challenging task. However, this is the time for co-creation and systems change, so we can contribute to the country's economic revival. We must seize this moment to reflect, reevaluate, and adopt creative and innovative development strategies that can accelerate decision-making by the industry players, building a more resilient enterprises and thus be on the way to sustainable recovery during this pandemic era. The multi-stakeholder collaboration and harnessing the power of technology is a crucial component of the roadmap to industry recovery. Technological innovations are now emerging, designed to connect national government databases to ensure COVID-free travels. This will generate trust and start the flow of new currency into travel. We have discussed creative solutions, time to coincide with the adoption of national policies that includes cautious reopening of borders and local economies. So the measures we put in place today will shape the tourism of tomorrow. So we need to remain disciplined, of course, and united. We need to anticipate and study well the evolving risks. We have to adjust our responses and changes brought about by the pandemic as we enter into the new normal. So to our stakeholders and participants, we thank you so much for your continuous support, not only for the summit, but also to all other activities that we have organized for the CBM 2020. We have next week the Entrepreneurship Summit, followed by ICT and BPM Summit, and lastly, the Creative Summit. So together, let us explore IT and continue to be a catalyst for both for the Cebu business community. Thank you so much, everyone, and good afternoon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Today, I woke up below the surface, where I learned to face my fears and go with the flow. But it's when I came to appreciate the big and the small. Made new friends from all over and could no longer hide my true colors. That I knew I'd emerged a local.
Makalibay, no?
Every day is different. Every day brings new challenges, new opportunities, and new possibilities. At Vivant, we embrace change because we know that to succeed in the energy sector, we need to be a strong investment partner, a partner who takes time to listen, a partner who provides solutions that benefit everyone, and a partner who can adapt to a changing world. Vivant's story began in 1879 as an abaca trading company. In the 1920s, the company that would become Vivant entered into the power industry with the purchase of the Visayan Electric Company. VECO now stands as the second largest power utility in the Philippines, supporting a population of 1.73 million and the fastest growing economy in the country. Deregulation of the power sector, together with listing on the Philippine Stock Exchange, has enabled Vivant to expand our energy investments beyond distribution into both power generation and retail electricity. We are supporting national development with our investments in conventional and renewable power generation, balancing the energy needs of our nation today with a sustainable future for our children. These generation investments range in type and scale from conventional solutions, like the nation's largest diesel plant, to a smaller scale innovative solutions, such as one of the first diesel solar hybrids in the Philippines. Vivant is a pioneer and one of the biggest investors in small power utilities groups. These off-grid investments are vital in creating growth opportunities for island communities beyond the reach of the national grid. Open access has enabled Vivant to expand into contestable retail markets and allowed us to offer competitive power alternatives. Individual clients can either restructure their existing power plants through our subsidiary retail energy suppliers or create their own power through our rooftop solar installations. Our willingness to introduce ideas extends to our community partnerships through Vivant CSR activities, where our contribution in education focuses on science and technology to drive innovation forward in the communities in which we work. Looking to the future, our ability to be a reliable partner, willing to explore relevant technologies, and adapt to market circumstances will continue to be the secret to our success in every aspect of the energy sector. As we expand beyond power, our business model of foresight, cooperation, and adaptability will always push us forward. Vivant, solutions for a changing world.
Imagine having technology that lets you grow your business right at your fingertips, where a single click can give you full access to your business and to the world. No need to imagine further. At Eastern Communications, we take care of your IT needs while you focus on what matters most to your business. Our business products and services are specifically designed to guarantee your business success in lesser time. Experience seamless business-to-business data exchange throughout the country and the world with our reliable data services. Our domestic data services ensure you with a stable delivery of private data across internal organizations and remote branches. If you're expanding business horizons, our international data services are perfect in securing private exchange of data between domestic and international sites. Whatever your internet needs, our customized packages got you covered for a smooth running operation and easier access to various applications. With our dedicated internet services, varying bandwidth needs and network delays will never be a problem anymore because we provide businesses with the best routes to ensure high-speed connectivity. If you are performing basic business operations, our shared internet services provide the stable and consistent connectivity that you need. Transform the way your business communicates, whether through our traditional voice services or modern voice solutions. When you upgrade your voice operations to IP-based telephony, you can instantly accelerate transactions and manage calls cost-effectively. But if you're looking for something simple and practical, nothing can go wrong with traditional telephony, which can handle up to 30 voice channels simultaneously. Plus, you get better voice quality and clearer reception. You can bring out the best in any plan when you avail our exclusive managed services that provide personalized assistance to your specific IT needs. Through our software-defined wide area network service, you can keep multiple branches connected to real-time information all at the same time. Want to improve internal operations without spending much? No worries. Our affordable value-added services ensure that you get additional boost on top of your plan. Give your business the much-needed protection it needs by keeping critical information in a highly secure data center facility operated by professional engineers 24/7. Our cloud service gets you ahead in business by equipping you with the proper tools towards the digital transformation of your business. Greater connection equals greater security risks? Not when you subscribe to our game-changing Eastern Cyber Defense Services. We protect the data of your business and customers 24/7 so you can have greater peace of mind at every step of the way. With our website protection service, cyber threats are automatically detected and blocked in real time. Building customers' trust is a must. So we also ensure there's high security in the personal information and transaction of your customers. Let us do all the worry so you can just focus on growing your business even more. So next time you come across problems with your connection, partner with Eastern. Because our language is solutions. Talk to us today. All it takes is that one connection, our strong connection. Eastern Communications.
Hi, I'm Chris. I am a principal engineer at Lexmark. My primary work is to deliver the best motherboard design for our world-class printers. I like working for Lexmark because it provides me the opportunity to design real high-end projects, and that is a rare opportunity in the Philippines. Aside from that opportunity, Lexmark is also a good place to grow. You are surrounded by great engineers who are world-class in talent and at the same time willing to help you grow in your career.
When you're bustling through the city, at work, or sweating it out, and just when you think you're doing things in style, the right moment can easily take the wrong turn. New GT Cosmetics Deodorant guarantees the freshness and confidence that you need to make it through the day, so that you're ready to make every moment the right moment.